Welcome into Sportstime. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a ton to talk about this afternoon. It's game day for the Grizzlies as play in tonight on the road against Golden State. We talked with DeMichael Cole yesterday, and he reminded us, Grizzlies, no wins on the West Coast this season. 0 on the year. Maybe they can change that tonight. A big game for the Grizzlies would get the 2 seed. Would play the 2 seed if they won this. Speaking of the 2 seed, we're going to talk Rockets a little bit later. Chris Gordy will join us, talk about the Rockets and the NBA. So much to get to. NFL, a lot of college football, college basketball news. But Brett, before we get started, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing very well, Brian. Good afternoon to you and Landon and everyone. Thank you for listening out there. And last night, how did you enjoy your baseball-only night?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a lot of Cardinals enjoying the win that they were able to get last night and learning new things. I mean, I thought I knew enough about this Cardinals team. Learning last night, Victor Scott, an aspiring rapper as well as an aspiring MLB player. So that was talked about on the broadcast. So yeah, learned a lot last night in my baseball.
I think I may be more in tune with rap artistry than Brad Thompson, the analyst on
I think so.
on the games.
I think so.
I love Chip Carey.
Oh yeah, no, he is. He has grown on me a lot. I will say
he is really good,
yeah.
And the empty seats.
Yeah, it was
It is stunning, isn't it, to turn it on.
And it's one thing if the Cardinals were losing 9-0 and to see that, but
Monday night, April,
that home run at the end of the game.
Has it been retrieved?
Well, that is.
Did it just bound around aimlessly?
That is a good question. I mean, seeing that shot of the left field bleachers and just not many people over there. So yeah, that was a little stunning last night.
Oh, it was. And tomorrow afternoon, 12:15 game. Maybe if the sun pops out and stays out in St. Louis, it'll be a good crowd. But that's just where they are right now, and it didn't happen overnight. It was a process, and I still a little bit will lean to at the end of a seminal chapter in Cardinal history, the end of Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, and Adam Wainwright.
Sure.
Gravity happens.
Yeah, everything comes
Mr.
back
Newton's
down.
right.
Sure does. Yeah, and we saw it. We're seeing it, I guess you could say.
You throw in gravity and miserliness, cheapwadness. I can't come up with the right word.
Well,
frugality.
Yeah.
Then Mr. Newton really happens. You're right. It is game night for the hometown team, the Memphis Grizzlies. Game 83. Game notes and everything tonight for the wacky play-in game way out there, West Coast time, 9 o'clock. No local coverage at all, all national. Rob Fisher will be with us starting a run of 5 o'clock on Wednesday appearances with us through the NBA Finals. And I checked with him today to check about times tomorrow and maybe trying to deal around his travel. And there's no travel. They didn't make the trip, so the national voices will be it, and I will really miss our guys.
Oh, yeah. You definitely will. And, National's cool and all, but, it is different when you're able to watch your own local broadcasts. And the group we have here, they're just so good. So, yeah, you miss them every time you don't get a chance to watch them. But, I guess the good thing is no matter what happens tonight, we'll be talking about another game with Rob tomorrow afternoon. If they win, we'll be talking about a series starting
Game 1 in
Houston. If they lose, we'll be talking about another play-in game against whoever would play tomorrow night, either Dallas or Sacramento, whoever won that game. So not the end of the road, but this one feels like it's going to be two completely different feelings coming into tomorrow, win or lose tonight.
How do you think Golden State views the Grizzlies? Golden State team, management, owner, players, fans. How do you think they view us?
I think they just view us as another team. I don't think there's any. I mean, we certainly view them a certain way, but I don't think they view us that way. I mean, they have I think, bigger and better things that they feel like they look at than the little Memphis Grizzlies.
SEC football world, give me what it would be the equivalent to in a rivalry. Would it be Vandy and Alabama? No, it's more than that.
Maybe. I mean, it's something where, I mean, I don't know. Tennessee.
Let's
Vandy,
not use Vandy because Vandy always gets knocked around on stuff like this. Would it
but
be?
I think that's what it is, Brett. Like, I think Golden State is patting our heads and saying, "Oh, you are cute over there, Memphis." Like, they're over there looking at the Lakers.
Well, that's Ole Miss and LSU. Then.
Sure, I mean, it's something like that. I don't think they view Memphis at all on their level or as a competitor to them.
That's Arkansas up against what historically Texas. No,
Sure.
but there's more there. No, there's more there. That's not fair to Arkansas.
Yeah.
There's more there. It's tough.
It's very tough.
I've had trouble really trying to. You wouldn't say state to Florida because they don't play often enough, and there's, it's not enough there to stoke.
No,
is there enough there to stoke anything?
I mean, maybe there is
with the Grizzlies and Golden State.
I think maybe to the players there's more. Obviously there have been some things, Draymond related on the court, and even some of his comments off the court, have definitely maybe fueled it a little bit, but I don't think, in terms of thinking about how the Golden State fan base views the Memphis Grizzlies, I think they probably view Memphis as below them. And I'm not saying that that's fair or right or anything, but
appreciably below.
That's how I think the Grizzlies are viewed. Them.
I mean,
not even in the same category.
And I would think to them, we're just way out there in middle America, a little bit south, and way over yonder.
Oh yeah, I mean out there, they're looking at the Lakers and the Clippers and over across the entire United States at the Celtics and the Knicks. I mean, they view themselves in the upper echelon category of NBA.
And they are.
They are. I mean,
and I guess now, they have to deal with Oklahoma City.
Sure, yeah. And
Oklahoma City's earned that.
They definitely have.
And quite frankly, the Grizzlies have not.
No, they haven't. And so, I do not think the Warriors, I don't think they're very worried about tonight's game. The fans, I don't think the players are. I think they're probably already planning for a game against the Rockets. Hopefully that changes. I mean, hopefully the Grizzlies get
puncher's chance. What kind of chance?
I think there's a puncher's chance. I mean, I think in any of these games where it's just a one-off, you have a chance. Obviously, the Grizzlies have beaten the Warriors this year.
Would this be 4 versus 13 in the NCAA tournament? What's the seed in the NCAA tournament? I can't get a handle on what this is.
I think it's probably like a 10-7. I mean, we talk about Golden State. I mean, realistically, Golden State's a 7 seed. I mean, it's not like this is 1 versus 8. I mean,
that's right.
Golden State has had their issues as well. The only thing is they have the monster like Steph Curry. And that's another thing I keep going back to is Steph Curry had 52 against you a couple weeks ago. Now, again, it was here in Memphis at FedEx Forum. You had 52, and you were still in that game, with 2-3 minutes left in the fourth quarter before they kind of went on a run and put it away. So, I mean, I think you have a puncher's chance. It's going to be tough on the road, but, I think in one of these one-off games, anything can happen.
Well, I sure appreciate everybody listening in on these airwaves. You can get sage advice, and I was listening to Johnny Radio today, our friend John Harden, and he gave everybody out there, young and old alike, some really sound advice during Access Hardwood. He said he gave advice to all Memphis motorists, and at time Memphis motorists need advice.
Sure,
I talked about the time I passed the car with no door.
Yes, you did.
And it was right there. I passed the car one time, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 donuts. Rolling right through town on all donuts. John Harden gave advice out today. If you're driving in Memphis traffic, don't be driving and smoking a blunt at the same time.
Well, that's
really good advice, isn't it?
It's really good advice.
Landon, you heard that advice, didn't
you?
You were there live when he dispensed that.
I heard it live. It was great advice, amongst other advice he gave. But
that's right.
It's good advice.
It's really great advice
on a day like today.
I'll never do it.
He got me. If he saved anybody out there, it's me.
Right.
I'll listen to his advice. I'll take his word for
man,
it.
that was great when I heard that today.
Yeah, that does not surprise me whatsoever. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this game plays out. Right now, Golden State a 6.5-point favorite tonight at home. I don't know. I don't know how I would bet this game if I was betting it, but you might need more Johnny Radio advice when this game's over.
Sure might.
We sure might.
When this game ends, it'll be close to midnight.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be really late. What did you say yesterday? If Golden State gets up 12, is that what you said yesterday?
I'm using my 12 point.
Like that.
Whenever if it's at the 4-minute mark into the game, 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, up 12. That's it.
Well, that's your version of call 12, right?
That's
you're calling it at 12.
That's right. I'm calling it at 12.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight. Hopefully it's a competitive game. That'll be the second game tonight. The first one, Hawks and Magic. That'll get started at 6:30 on TNT. Orlando 5.5-point favorite in that one. We'll make our picks for both of these games a little bit later in this hour. I spent most of my morning listening to reaction to Nico Harrison's press conference this morning, where I shouldn't say he was not the only one involved in this, but the Mavericks only allowed certain media members in there. It sounds like anywhere between 12 and 15 media members. No recording whatsoever, whether it be audio or video. And that's what the Mavericks decided to do today as they get ready for the
Grizzlies pulled
game.
that.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Grizzlies pulled that one time with a air it out press conference with Mark Gasol with just a couple of handpicked people, and I don't know that they limited. It was no TV, so they did limit that, and that's repulsive to me.
Crazy.
And I would like to think I probably wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
In all candor, I probably wouldn't. And I'm not saying this because I was not one of the handpicked then, but I would like to think I would say the same thing about it, and I hope I would do different.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been a time, and we're long past it, I know that. There would have been a time that if any, even college, but a professional sports team of the big ones, they did that, most of the other people would have said that then I don't go.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Here's how you have a press conference. You send out the media release to everybody that's on your list that covers your team.
Yep.
If you have a season credential, that means you cover the games, you're at the games. Whatever terminology you want to use with cover, attend, there, whatever it is. You send it out 1:30 Tuesday afternoon, grand foyer or media room, whatever it is. And you don't have to feed us. You don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to be a cup of water there. And whoever shows. Sure. And if you show with a recorder, you show with your phone, you show with any modern apparatus, then so be it.
Yeah.
And I would, but I'm afraid, Brian, in all candor, that now that if I was part of the chosen one, I wouldn't stand down. I wouldn't say, and I can't blame them for their entity, for them going. I really can't. If let's say Channel 3 got chosen, I couldn't blame Mike Sadie.
No.
I mean, he's in the news gathering business.
That's right.
Colin Cody, those good people, whatever group it is, 5, 13, 24, 10, 30, whatever it is. Anybody. Our friend Avery Braxton, he's in the news gathering business. He shouldn't hurt himself professionally by doing that. And I probably, but there was a time that I would like to think there was that time.
Well, I'll say this.
Is that a little too halcyon, a little too romantic that there was ever that time?
I don't think so. I'll say this. I was watching, I'll give them credit, the DLLS Mavs podcast. They went live after this press conference. They had a guy there that was one of the few chosen to go and be there, and he was there. But Mark Stein, who covers the NBA nationally but is located in Dallas, he was on this podcast, and he said that he was one that got an invitation to go, and he did not go. He said, I'm not going to be there if everyone can't be there.
Oh, good
I'm
for
not
Mark
gonna
Stein.
I'm not
I
going
love
to
him
be
for
one
it.
person that's going to be there. So, I do think they're still out there. I think it's very rare, and I think it's one of those things where, you do have, it's your job to go and report news, and when something like this happens,
Yeah, you
be
could be
there.
subject to being fired
Sure,
for not
sure.
being there when handpicked.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that's the beauty of Mark Stein. He works for himself. He does his own thing. So,
Very nice.
He has that luxury. But very weird. That was kind of the other thing is the notice for this press conference I have seen went out less than 24 hours before the press conference. So only inviting a select few and giving those select few very limited notice on this is happening.
I didn't say this yesterday because I did not want to put DeMichael Cole in a tough spot because, look, he's independent of the Grizzlies. He works for the Commercial Appeal, owned by Gannett. But I almost can feel this coming. Lose tonight, lose Friday night. Mm-hmm. They wrap up that getaway availability Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon.
I could see it.
That should be Monday afternoon, 1-ish to 3-ish to 4-ish, and more rather than less.
Yeah.
That's everybody up there. It's Wexler, it's Tommy Isolo, it's Kleiman, it's everybody up there to be questioned.
Yep. And I think
whenever that end of the year,
Sure.
if that end of the year presser is after a parade,
Sure.
and the Grizzlies have the Cinderella of all-time NBA experience between now and June 25th. That's how that should be.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you, and I'll say this:
Too much public money in
Yes.
FedEx Forum, and more on the way for the Grizzlies not to be more accessible.
And certainly will be a lot of questions once the season is wrapped up, whenever it is. There were people asking with Nico doing this today, is he trying to use that to replace an exit interview at the end of the season? It's just a weird time in Dallas. We'll talk more about that.
And Nico Harrison said he had no regrets for the Luka deal.
Yeah.
Look, in the arena, everybody's going to say that. I don't need the up close and personal interview in about 5 years of the book at the end of Nico's career of that was a real gaffe. I really shouldn't have done that because in the middle of it, because if he says yes, I have regrets, he should be fired.
Oh, absolutely.
The Adelson family should fire him summarily.
I could not agree more, and that's exactly how it's going to play out. Is he's going to until he's done with his career in basketball, he's going to say that was a good decision, and then one day there will be the biography written, and he'll say, "Yep, that was a mistake." I mean, we know how this. We know it's a mistake. He's the only one that still thinks it's
too many cat and mouse games with these teams and with their own media arms.
Yeah, no, you are right about that. We'll probably talk more about this situation in Dallas. Very, very weird things going on. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Chris Gordy from the Locked On SEC podcast from 790 down in Houston. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of Rockets as they get ready to kick off the playoffs as the number 2 seed in the West. We'll talk about what the Rockets have done, the NBA, who they could see in the first round of the playoffs. It will be the winner of tonight's game between the Grizzlies and the Warriors. We'll also talk a little bit of SEC with Chris Gordy, certainly get his thoughts on the Nico situation up in Knoxville. 3:45, we'll make our picks for the play-in games tonight. Again, it starts with the Hawks and Magic, and then the Grizzlies, Warriors. We'll do that. That will be the start of our playoff picks that we will definitely get to in full later this week, but got to start with the play-ins tonight. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of college football with him, all the news around Nico and really everywhere else in the country. College football stories coming out all over the place with spring practice and transfer portal getting ready to open again tomorrow. 4:30, we'll break down the Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors game tonight. Again, a nationally televised TNT game tonight at 9 o'clock. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us to talk the NFL as we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. At 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pool starting at $19.99 installed. Liner starting at $299. All pool accessories up to 20% off, and 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99. Swim spas and cold plunge tubs, they're $2,000 off, and don't forget about the patio furniture. Sets now up to 50% off on select sets. Mention this ad and get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. It's produced by Landon Schmidt, and we want you to be a part of it. 901-360-8255. Text or call us at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Always from our Family Leisure Studio, and this hour brought to you every day by the great people at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the Grizzlies and the Warriors tonight, 9 o'clock on TNT, a series where the Warriors handled 3-1 in the regular season, but that one win by the Grizzlies, they won handedly. Now, can the Grizzlies pick up a win? Can they keep this competitive on the road? Michael Cole reminded us yesterday that the Grizzlies have not had any luck or any success on the West Coast, and now they'll go out there and play the Warriors. We know the Warriors have played much better this season since acquiring Jimmy Butler, and we saw what Steph Curry can do against anybody when they were here last in Memphis against the Grizzlies when he put up 52 points. The Grizzlies will have to rely on their defense, something that's really struggled for them over the second half of the season. Can they do enough to slow down this Warriors offense? Can they slow down Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green? Obviously, if you do that, you feel pretty good, but you're talking about three guys that will be Hall of Famers. Can you slow those guys down? It's hard for anybody to do. You win tonight, you'll face the number 2 seed in Houston. You lose tonight, well, all eyes will be glued on the televisions tomorrow night when the Mavericks and the Kings face off, and you'll play for the 8th seed, and then we've talked about it, a lose-lose situation. You win, oh boy, you're in the playoffs, but you got to play the number 1 seed, Oklahoma City, who everybody in the entire league has struggled against this year. Well, you lose, we know what happens then. You're out, no playoffs for you, and the offseason starts early.
My top story as well, will it be the 7th seed and one of the biggest upset wins in team history in a series versus Houston, or yet another bruising L to our old buddy Draymond and the Warriors? Loser leaves the playoffs on Friday night at FedEx Forum if that's the case. Not ideal, very much less than ideal, but that fall off the Grizzlies have had, it has been something, and it is all on the front office. And that dive, this team, and it was a dive. Now, it wasn't a thrown game because there was no money won off of it, but this team took a dive on March 1st against San Antonio, and that game looms large right now, doesn't it? You could feel it that night, and it did something to a lot of people that night. That was offensive, and that was a Wexler climbing move extraordinaire. Always playing the maintenance game, always playing the analytics game. Look what it got them. Yeah. Look what it got. That should never be forgiven. What they did with that is pure loser mentality.
Yeah, well, I remember that day. It was the day we went down to Oxford and saw Ole Miss and Oklahoma.
scurried back.
You were, and we talked about it. Oh man, a lot of guys sitting out. This feels
That
very
was it.
weird, and now we're seeing it is a turning point for this Grizzlies team.
Not top story of the day.
This isn't my not top story of the day, but we've got ESPN on here. Mel Kiper talking about his new big board. Mel Kiper dyed his hair. I mean, hair looking good right now for Mel Kiper.
Mel did something to that rig. What did he do that
He
for?
dyed it. I mean, it's all, a luscious
one of the great
brown
quaffs of all
color.
time.
I mean, it is. I looked up. I was like, something about Mel looks different today. Sure enough.
What's he on?
He's on ESPN on NFL Live right now. They're not talking to him right now, but they're going to go back to him in a second. I'm telling you, keep it on ESPN. They're going to go back to Mel Kiper, and you're going to see it. His hair is most definitely dyed. If it's not, then I'm losing my mind right now. But it's something is going on. My not top story of the day, it's got to be the situation in Dallas with Nico Harrison, who addressed the media earlier today in what I'm calling a secret media scrum. Only a handful of people invited. I heard reports saying it was somewhere between 12 to 15 actual media members that were there for this press conference. No audio or video recording allowed, and the invitees.
That's East Germany, isn't it? That's Stasi stuff, isn't it?
It's incredible. I mean, how in the world can you have a press conference and not allow anybody to record what's going on? They only got the notification of this less than 24 hours until the press conference took place. In terms of what he said, it was a lot of defense. Basically what we've heard for a long time now from him. Ever since the trade, it's defense wins championships. That was his answer for a lot of questions. But then maybe the quote of the day coming down.
Mel's rig. I just saw it.
Oh man, I'm telling
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry.
I'm not losing my mind, right? He 100% dyed his hair. I mean, it looks good.
It looks like
you know?
Secretariat. It's chestnut.
It's definitely different. That is certainly for sure. But the big thing you're all good. I mean, I brought it up. It had to be seen. Everyone needs to see his hair. But this came out. MAF CEO Rick Welts, in the press conference this morning, compared the Luka Doncic trade to when he was with the Warriors, and the Warriors traded Monte Ellis for Andrew Bogut in 2012. He said that everyone loved Monte Ellis, which I love Monte Ellis. I mean, he was one of my favorite players growing up. But he said that the Warriors loved Monte Ellis. They traded them, and the whole fan base was mad, but then they got over it because they fell in love with Steph Curry. What in the world are we doing? There is no Steph Curry coming behind. Luka is the Steph Curry for the Dallas Mavericks, and they just traded him away to the Lakers. I don't understand what's going on. And then the timing of this. Why is it happening at this point? Nobody woke up this morning wanting to talk about Nico Harrison or Luka Doncic, but they brought this upon themselves, and now while their team is getting ready to go play a win-or-go-home game, the whole conversation in the sports world today is about Nico Harrison and Luka Doncic.
I got a lot more to say the rest of the day. I know we're short on time before we get to Chris Gordy about these hand-picked, the chosen one pressers. I got a lot more to say. But right now, my top story is this, and I say this rather ruefully, a little bit regrettably. Today is Jackie Robinson Day, and I'm afraid with the years going by, it's kind of becoming a little more just kind of another day.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
And I don't want it to be that. I am glad all 30 baseball teams are playing today.
Me too.
Remember one year we had it, the Dodgers weren't even playing. So they got that right.
Yeah.
Give credit where it's due.
Yes.
Jackie Robinson was so much more than a pioneer. He was that to the nth degree, to the highest order. But he was so much more than that. Great player in every sport, football, basketball, baseball, track. Led the conference UCLA was in then in scoring. In 1939 and 1940, he led the nation in punt return yardage. His first college football game, UCLA beat TCU by the score of 6-2.
Wow. All right.
That year, UCLA goes undefeated.
How about that?
6-0-4.
Wow. Okay.
Right there's the reason to get rid of ties, isn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah, that is some wonky stuff.
Happy
right
Jackie
there.
Roosevelt Robinson
Absolutely.
Day.
Happy Jackie Robinson Day. It's going to be fun tonight to see all the teams in action with 42 on their back. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we return, we're talking all things Houston and SEC. We'll do that next with Chris Gordy.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Hey guys, it's Jason Smith from The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon nights here on Fox Sports Radio. Harm, how much did we weigh 2 months ago?
You were at 255. I was coming in about 230.
And now, drum roll.
I'm down 36 and a half. You're down 38?
38 pounds, and we're doing it the right way, just like the pro athletes. We've hired PhD weight loss and nutrition, founded by former professional athlete herself, Dr. Ashley Lucas. We're averaging around 3 pounds per week. If you're overweight, do PhD weight loss. They'll get you on a nutritional plan. You'll lose fat the very first week and every week.
80% of your food coming at no extra cost. Weekly weigh-ins with your nutritionist all over the phone.
Hey, limited offer. Make sure you mention Jason or The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Get 2 free weeks added to your weight loss program. When you fully commit, you'll receive 15% off your weight loss program and 15% off your energy supplement bundle. And your program is backed by PhD's Get Results Guarantee.
Give them a call at 864-502-1777. That's 864-502-1777. Or go to myphdweightloss.com.
864-502-1777.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Memphis. In the wake of the large storm systems that passed through the Mid-South, our 8 shingle crew, 3 TPO commercial flat roof crews, and even 2 metal and tile crews are all out assisting policyholders. We won't stop until all have been restored to pre-storm condition. Many homes throughout the Mid-South were hit by hail, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and yes, even 2 inch hail fell in the Mid-South. Many times hail damage will go unnoticed. Many people think it's no big deal. However, shingles and yes, even metal roofs are compromised. In time, show signs of leaks, and on metal means rust due to breaking the coating, which in turn ends up leaking. If you had hail and high winds, look up, or better yet, have us come look up for you. Water left unattended will turn into health issues in the home and business. Our staff will perform inspections free. That's right, free. Inspections of all the roof, attic, and interior to ensure that no shingle panel or insulation go unturned. Call Metro Builders now. Call us. 375-1717. That's 375-1717. Or check us out online at metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus and Others. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now to talk some Houston Rockets and the SEC, Chris Gordy from the Locked On SEC podcast, 790 down in Houston. He joins us now. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with the Houston Rockets getting ready to start the playoffs here later into the weekend. As the number 2 seed, the huge bump, missing the playoffs last year, getting the 2 seed this year. What has stood out to you about this year's Houston Rockets team that allowed them to make such a great rise in the NBA?
Well, first and foremost, we were yelling "Go Grizz" over here in Houston. We're waving our growl towels. We want the Grizzlies to win more than anything tonight. We don't want to see those.
Thank you, Chris.
So
we appreciate. We feel the love.
Yeah, we're all Team Grizzlies tonight. But no, look, it's been a rough couple of years, man. It's funny. We're talking with we're the flagship station for the Rockets, so we've been talking with a lot of folks in the building about planning for our playoff game and all this, and coming to realize we've not had a home playoff game here at Toyota Center since 2019. I mean, 2020 was the last time they made the playoffs, and of course that was COVID and the bubble, playoff in the bubble. So we have not played a playoff game here at Toyota Center since 2019, and of course, the team looked very different then. I mean, it was funny looking at the starting lineup. PJ Tucker and Trevor Ariza and all these guys who are no more, and it's a completely overhauled roster, a completely overhauled organization, new GM, new head coach, new everything. And so, look, it was not an easy couple of years. I mean, they had to go through the pains of a lot of losses and bad seasons. And, Steven Silas, one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet, but it just wasn't happening with him as the head coach. And, they got a great haul in the James Harden trade and several other moves that they've made, and they've rebuilt this thing from the ground up. And, due to, incredible circumstances and how it happened, to even having Ime Udoka available in the market, it was a godsend. Not with what transpired with him in Boston, but with him being available and the Rockets ponying up the cash to go get a guy like him. And since the day he stepped foot in Houston, man, he is found. And, it was funny, last year they go 41-41, missed the play-in, but had they been in the East, they would have been a playoff team last year. So, for them to do what they've done this year, to the meteoric rise and to finish with the second-best record in the West, it's all the hard work and the dedication that they dedicated to that rebuild and building this thing from the ground up. And Tillman Fertitta deserves a lot of credit in going this path, because it would have been easy to stick it with James Harden and go, all right, let's keep trading for superstars to put around him. We had Dwight Howard. We had Chris Paul. We had this guy. And no, the thing had run its course. It was time to hit the reset button. And, this playoff run that they're getting set up for, it's just exciting from a standpoint of we have no idea how good this team is going to be. Like, they could run through this thing, and we could be talking about Western Conference Finals with the Thunder. They could be one and done and lose in the first round, because none of these guys have really ever been in the playoffs outside of Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet.
Chris, we mentioned yesterday the unfortunate for him personally and professionally and everything that transpired with his exit in Boston, but so fortunate in Houston for the Rockets franchise to get Ime Udoka. That was really fortuitous for the Rockets. It's almost out there in the coaching, managing world, and it's no shot at Joe Espada, but it's almost like y'all got that right after having to kind of cut loose from A.J. Hinch and lose such a great manager for your baseball team.
Yeah, and I mean, when Dusty Baker was out there and available and the Astros were able to grab him, he helped sustain that success that the Astros had the last couple of years. But, yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, I mean, Ime Udoka is not just, like, he's an incredible X's and O's coach, but he's also an incredible coach when it comes to the players and dealing with, I mean, such a young core of players. All these guys are 20, 21, 22 years old. They're only a couple years into the league, and he's changed their mindset. I mean, Jalen Green, his first season in the NBA, had no interest in defending. This year, he's probably played his best defensive year he's had. He's still not a great defender, but you see the effort there, the want to, and how he's developed. And that's what's just been so fun, is that this whole team has adapted Ime's kind of, I don't want to say blue collar, but just hard-nosed attitude. And, almost like they come into the arena every night feeling disrespected. And part of that is you have a Dylan Brooks who probably brings some of that attitude as well. But, a guy like Amin Thompson, who's in just his second year, he's already being, touted as potentially Defensive Player of the Year this year. How he defends the perimeter, but then still finds a way to get to the rim and be, a rim protector there. And he, 3.6 percentage block rate. I mean, it's been incredible to watch his development. So, yeah, look, I mean, again, you hit the reset button, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you're the Sacramento Kings, and this thing never resets.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're the Charlotte Hornets, and you're just spinning your wheels, and this thing's never going to get back on track. But it's been amazing to watch, and like I said, everything, all of our experience with Ime behind the scenes, he is a very soft-spoken man. You got to listen really closely to hear him. But, man, that guy is an incredible X's and O's head coach.
Yeah. One of my favorite guys to watch in the NBA, and I catch heat from all of my friends about it because it feels like every time he plays the Grizzlies, he has a great game. But Alperen Sengun, what he does down low, I mean, the European big, that entire European style that he plays with, only 22 years old. Talk a little bit about what he's been able to bring the team and how he's developed over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's funny. A couple years ago when they first got him, one, I give the kid credit. He barely spoke any English. I mean, he came from Turkey, and nobody really knew what they were getting him. He now does fluent interviews in English. He speaks English very well, and he credited watching a lot of American television, all that. But it just kind of speaks to this guy so young. Everything he's had to learn, coming to a new country and learning everything, and he has really blossomed and developed. I remember his rookie year, somebody said, "Man, this guy really blossoms. He might be baby Joker out there. He could be like Jokic." And people laughed. Everybody laughed at that thought because it was crazy to think at the time. And here we are a few years later, and he was an all-star this year, and now you start going, okay, well, maybe that's not crazy. If he continues to develop and work at his game, like, he might, he maybe could be in the realm of a Jokic, if he keeps at this rate. So he's been so fun to watch. Obviously Hakeem Olajuwon, his first season, would go to practice a lot and help out the big man with some of those post moves and things like that. And Hakeem's done that a lot over the years with guys like Dwight Howard and Clint Capella. But Sengun he's really found his game and really found his way around the rim. I just worry a little bit, guys, in the postseason. Sometimes those fouls you get in the regular season, they're not calling them in the postseason. They let you play. I just worry about Sengun if that happens to him. But, man, he's tough. Just last week playing the Warriors and took an elbow to the face from Draymond Green, as he's been known to throw elbows, and sure enough, Sengun gets up and gets back in there. He's tough, man. This kid has really, really blossomed, and I'm excited to see where his career goes from here because, like I said, already an all-star this year. We'll see where he goes.
Chris, you mentioned Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Rockets and the chief benefactor of Houston Cougars basketball, Mr. Basketball, Mr. Sports, Mr. Entrepreneur, Mr. Restaurateur in Houston. He has to be beloved. So what on the eve of the playoff starting, do you think around town there's more Rockets fever or was it a lot of Houston Cougars fever? Which one is kind of more paramount?
Yeah, I think people are just starting to turn the page and get ready for the Rockets. But, yeah, I mean, the past 3 weeks, it's been Houston Cougar mania around these parts. And, what's so fun about it is Houston's such a transient city. Yet a lot of people who didn't go to Houston were still rallying and going to the games and starting to become fans of this team because Kelvin Sampson is just he's such a hell of a coach. And the run that he's had here in Houston and turned these teams into perennial Final Four teams, or at least making a Sweet 16 every year has been outstanding. And I was there in San Antonio last week, guys. I'll tell you, I've never been in a sadder locker room in my life. I've been in locker rooms of teams that have lost the World Series, teams that have lost the Super Bowl, teams that have lost the national championship in football. That was the saddest locker room I've ever been in. I mean, just guys just absolutely bawling, crying because they know what a missed opportunity they had. But, man, what a hell of a run it was. And look, I'll say this. The Houston Cougars aren't slowing down anytime soon. They got a top-rated recruiting class for next year, them and Duke. They're hitting the reload button, and, wouldn't shock me if they're right back here again next year. But what a heck of a run for a team. AAC and dominating. But to go right into the Big 12 and dominate in the Big 12, too, I think sent a large message that this is no fluke. Kelvin Sampson is just a hell of a coach, and, man, we're so grateful to have him.
Yeah, it's incredible what he's doing down there at Houston. Chris, before we let you go, we got to talk some SEC, obviously, the host of the Locked on SEC podcast. What's going on with Nico? What do you make of this situation that, has been playing out?
Are there any others out there that's next?
I mean,
anybody going to lose somebody else?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody else. I do know this. It reminded me of a conversation I had with somebody that told me the coaches in South Carolina started having conversations with Lenore Stellars back in October about, hey, let's talk NIL. Let's get this thing mapped out for next year because, we don't want to go into the off season and have these awkward conversations and, he might enter the transfer portal and all this. So, for a South Carolina to already see through the weeds and go, all right, we got to take care of this for Lenore Stellars in South Carolina. You just knew somebody along the way was going to get a big head and think, I'm better than I really am and I deserve more money. And, again, not begrudging the kids at all. Get your money, and it's awesome that they can be paid now. But it's funny. Everybody I've talked to about Nico Iamaleava in the offseason said, yeah, good quarterback, not great. I think that's where we are. He was a 5-star recruit. I thought he got better in certain aspects last year. I think he's going to continue to develop and could have gotten much better this year, taking a big step forward. But I think they thought he had arrived when he hasn't actually arrived yet. And I think that's the tough part of this conversation. And now you're seeing so many teams. I mean, this is so late in the game, guys. We're mid-April. There are teams going, no, we're good. Like, we can't bring you in mid-April and learn a whole system and a playbook and develop chemistry with all of our receivers and all this. So it's going to be fascinating to see where he ends up because nobody's going to pay that $4 million price tag. You put it out there publicly. That's what he was looking for. Tennessee said no. I don't know a school in the country that would pay him that right now. So, look, he might be waiting a while for a new school unless he's willing to lower that price tag, which just got lower. You were making $2 million at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to swallow your pride and make $1 and a half somewhere that you don't even want to be because it's supply and demand, and the demand is short up.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's backfiring on him right now. We'll see once the portal opens tomorrow how many teams are really interested in him. Chris, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Go Grizz! Go Grizz!
You got it, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
We feel the love. Thank you, Chris Gordy down in Houston.
A really genuine love there
from want
Houston.
us.
Oh, yeah, no, for good reasons, I would say.
Is there a chance that this Houston team, I think Chris even touched on it, you get to the playoffs and they go young on us?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
we saw it happen in 22 to a Grizzlies team.
We did. And
barely scuffled through against Minnesota and Pat Bev and then out.
Yeah, I mean, I think any team that goes from being completely out of the playoffs to number 2 seed, nobody on that roster really has playoff experience. They've got a couple of those veterans, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet. Certainly they have the playoff experience, Steven Adams. But a lot of those key guys that they're going to be relying on have not had playoff experience. And so, that is definitely a concern when you look at this Houston team. They're certainly talented enough, but can they do it is the other question. Let's go ahead and get to another break. And speaking of the Grizzlies, we got to make our picks for tonight's play-in games. 2 games, both on TNT. We'll pick those next on Sportstime.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia on the Pike. How about a new ride for under $6 a day? 2025 Kia K4 LXS. We Gossett $159 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage GX. We Gossett $269 a month. And get more power, larger cargo area than Nissan Pathfinder in your new 2025 Kia Telluride S. We Gossett $398 a month. All $49.99 new signing, 24-month lease, and they're all equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Go see Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee $20,000 per year.
20 cents excess mileage, 12,000 miles per year, $49.99 to its signing. Must finance through KFA, K4, SEO 87349, MSRP 25320, Sportage S719 2005, MSRP 30660, Telluride SG 596 MSRP 41060. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/2/25.
Whoa. More fiber? What? Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation and belly pain still coming back. Yeah. Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. You may learn about. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with foamy or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-999-YESS.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action at Simmons Liberty Stadium on Sunday, May 11th, as they face the St. Louis Battlehawks with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. Come see all the football action of the UFL and join us as we celebrate our mascot Skipper's birthday. Treat Mom to a Mother's Day she'll never forget with more fun, more excitement, and more Showboats football. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports with the Station. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Cars. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
Well, we got to make some picks for the play-in games. They start tonight, a doubleheader on TNT. It starts at 6:30. Hawks and Magic, and then following that, we know the big game here locally, Grizzlies on the road against the Warriors, not the Wizards. Wizards, they're getting ready to try to get Cooper Flagg, so they are not worried about tonight's game. But we're just picking winners for this game, part of our playoff picks that will get started. For real, we'll make a lot of picks, I'm guessing on Friday before those series get started over the weekend. So I guess who wants to start us off with Hawks and Magic?
We'll get it going, and this is without the point spread, just who wins, who advances. I know tonight you advance to being the 7th seed. Nobody eliminated after tonight. The defeated teams are waiting to see who they play among the defeated teams. First game at 6:30 on TNT, True TV, and Max. Orlando, 5.5-point favorite. We're not picking point spread, just picking straight-up winner. Brian, I'll start. I'm going to start with Orlando.
All right. Yeah, I'll go next. I'll also take Orlando. I think really the main reason they're down here is a lot of injuries throughout the season, but this is a Hawks team that's super injured as well. So yeah, I'll take the Magic to get the win.
Hawks and the Bulls feel like they're in the play-in every year, don't they?
They are. It's
they are.
It's the third straight year that both of them have been in the play-in. I saw that yesterday.
That's why it feels that way, Landon.
There's another team as well, but I don't remember who it is. Landon, your pick?
Sacramento?
It might be Sacramento. I'll find it. Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta have all made it 3 straight years. How about that?
Miami's had a lot of luck in it.
They
Miami rode it to the finals.
Sure did. And I think maybe one of those teams, maybe Atlanta, has been in it 4 straight years. The other 2, 3 straight. I think Atlanta, maybe 4 straight years.
That's not the banner you hang.
No. It's not a good banner.
Landon tonight, Orlando or Atlanta?
Is it just us 3 picking?
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, I think we can mark this down as our first ever group lock. I'm going with Orlando.
I love it.
On the zany play-in.
I love it. We might have a group lock on the next one, too. I don't know.
And we're going to have a bunch of group locks. This is why these games have really decided the ultimate winner.
Sure have.
The last few years of this. West play-in tonight. It's the Golden State Warriors home. 6.5-point favorite over the Grizzlies. 227.5 the total. Brian, you first.
I'll go first. I'll take the Warriors. I think DeMichael said it so yesterday. 0-8 on the West Coast. This is a Warriors team playing much better since acquiring Jimmy Butler. I hope the Grizzlies can win. I hope they keep it close. But I'll take the Warriors in this one at home.
Landon?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I really want the Grizzlies to win and pull it out. I just don't think they can do it.
Yeah.
So give me the Warriors as well.
I hope we miss on that group a lot.
So too.
I do.
Some prominent sunshine pumpers. I like to pump reality.
Yeah.
And the reality is this team has been going nowhere for a long time.
Well, and then,
down.
Very much down. And I guess
For a long time, long stretch at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm already seeing it a little bit on social media. Some people almost wanting the Grizzlies to lose, if they lose tonight, to go ahead and lose on Friday
and get that pick,
and get that pick back. That is lottery protected that they sent to the Wizards. You get that one back, and then at least that way you have a good pick in what should be a really good draft. So I've seen that cause controversy over the weekend since people have kind of started bringing that up. Obviously, you don't, I don't think, want your team playing to lose, but we talked about it. It feels like a lose-lose scenario.
Wait a second, Brian. Why can't we as fans, why can't we play a little bit of the long game, the maintenance game, when that's all we hear from October to April?
Yeah, well, I think you hope that, well, and I was about to say that postseason play means more, but I don't even know if you would consider this postseason. I guess it is technically postseason play. It's not playoff play, but it is postseason play. But
Game 83 play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how you define play in tournament in terms of importance. I guess answer that question to me, and I can give you a better answer. I don't know.
We'll do a lot more of this when it's over, whenever it ends, whether it ends Friday night or sometimes in late April or middle of May, whenever it ends. The revisionist history that just is too rich is now – I'm hearing Jake LaRavia spoken of almost like he was Mike Miller.
It's crazy. I mean, some of the talk of, well, they should have never traded. You made that trade that involved both him and Marcus Smart. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, everybody in the world that claimed Grizzly fandom or paid attention to the Grizzlies,
we're sick of it,
wanted those two gone. And so, I mean, Brett, I honestly think that a lot of this is getting away from the fact that maybe this roster just wasn't very good,
Maybe it wasn't, and that goes back ultimately to the big mistake with Jake LaRavia. Were the Whiz kids ever drafting him?
Yeah, and you go back to that draft in particular, and I mean that was the first round where you took both Jake LaRavia and David Roddy, two guys that
Big Body Roddy.
That's right, Big Body Roddy, two guys that are now no longer anywhere near this franchise.
On the heels of Zaire.
That's right. Yes, I mean. There are definitely some hits, but there are definitely some misses, and I think those get forgotten
all
about.
The angst, all the finger pointing, all everybody's kind of mad, and some are taking it out on Ja. I've taken some shots. Ja, even now of late, Jaron, the Wexler climbing team is the team to take it out on.
I agree. I agree, and. Who knows? Maybe
it sure isn't Taylor Jenkins' fault anymore, is it?
No, can't blame him anymore. But I'm sure people will still try to until at least the start of next year. I'm curious to see what the conversation is, depending on how these play-ins play out. But we'll talk more about this game in particular at 4:30. We'll break down Grizzlies, Warriors. But right now, we got to get to another break. When we return, we're heading down to First Coast News down in Jacksonville. Brent Beard, he joins us, talk some college football next.
Service Director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
shine, whatever the weather, tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Yokohama tires. Go to TireRack.com/Colin to see their Yokohama test results, tire ratings, and reviews. And be sure to check out their special offers. They always have them. TireRack.com. It's the way tire buying should be.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of accidents in their clearing stages. Trying its best to build on some of the major outbound routes already. Trying to sneak through Midtown, coming down 240 southbound here at Norris. We've seen some emergency pothole repairs going on all afternoon long, it seems like, in certain spots all over the city as traffic cranks up I-40 here at Danny Thomas, headed back across the I-40 bridge over into West Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they want you to know they are your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95.
Well, we're about to talk college football with Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. I'm sure a lot of our conversation will revolve around Nico and what's going on. Portal opens tomorrow. We talked yesterday. The reports came out. Pete Nakos, who's done a fantastic job reporting this entire story, he reported North Carolina was out yesterday. Today, Tulane getting some talk earlier this morning. He's reporting that Tulane is out on Nico for the portal.
And I promise you, if Tulane's alums decide we're going to do this, they can get right up there butting heads with SMU.
They definitely
with
could.
anyone.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And so, I mean, I think it was yesterday there was a report behind a paywall from On3, but the picture that they posted on social media had like North Carolina, UCLA, and Tulane pictures with Nico, and I was going, Tulane in the mix. I don't think you want to see that.
A Tulane person told me a long time ago, anytime they ever really needed to raise money, they would threaten to cancel football.
Well,
and the money would roll in.
Yeah, I guess if you can do that, do it. But that is kind of a weird way to go about it. But yeah, I mean, if Tulane wants to, they can certainly find the money to be competitive to get Nico. We got Brent Beard with us now from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. Brent, what did you make of this Nico situation when you first saw it reported that he would no longer be a part of Tennessee's program?
Well, I mean, it certainly got my attention. It was one of the absolute dumbest decisions and a college football player has made in a long time. I saw these tweets about, well, don't blame Nico, blame the NCAA. Look, at some point you've got to take responsibility for your decisions, and hopefully his life will get better. Because he's at a crossroads in his life. He made a bad decision because he got bad advice, and we're just in a situation, guys, to where you want $4 million when you haven't even earned the $2 million you were getting. So he was between a rock and a hard place, and again. Nothing against him, but hopefully it will make a lot of guys think twice before they get outrageous with what they want.
And so many layers of this story, Brent. You're right. And now with a few days to digest it and a lot of the give and take out there, blaming the NCAA, which is I like to do and it's easy to do. That's right up there with blaming on the media. It's always easy to do that as well. But with Nico, Tennessee's taking a lot of credit now for having a line in the sand and knowing when to say when. Well, they're the ones that went out there with the revolutionary, and it was regarded as really revolutionary, locking him up in high school, telling him we're going to pay you while you sit and watch in a red shirt. I mean, they've already paid out a lot of money. Now, after it really gets ugly, they're wanting to take the credit for doing the virtuous thing.
Look, sometimes things just land in your lap, and this is one of those things that happened. That this happened, and they can say that they took advantage of it. And I'm not going to say they came out smelling like a rose. I just think there are a lot of people who realize that is not the case. That they started this with their outrageous offer to begin with. But again, I mean, we're talking about a very average quarterback. I think the thing that disturbs me the most about this is, or would be the reports that he wanted to transfer and hold this over Tennessee before the Ohio State playoff game. Now, he was sterling 14 of 31 for 104 passing in that game.
Didn't know he was in the stadium.
But I mean, look, guys, how in the world when you're and the team knew this. I mean, how in the world can you concentrate and focus on a playoff game when you've got this going on at the same time?
We beg for every bit of this to happen, and I know today some very controversial remarks on this subject matter on Get Up on ESPN this morning on Hot Take TV, Mike Greenberg show, and he had a panel discussion, had Paul Feinbaum kind of from the college football fan point of view through his interaction with his listeners, his callers, the people that support his show, and they are numerous. And Ryan Clark was on the show, famously a defensive back at LSU on Nick Saban's national championship team there, and now more of an NFL analyst than he is a college football analyst. And he basically said that college to heck with the fans, college football, the fans don't matter anymore. Brent, do you think this is the start of maybe fans showing that, look, from A to Z, we pay the bills in college football collectively, the fans do. Do you think this could be the tripwire for it?
It could be. It may be the fact of, look, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, and we've had enough. And look, that's I mean, for Ryan Clark, I've heard him say a whole lot wiser things than that. That's just basically nonsensical.
I've heard him say even dumber than that too, though.
I don't doubt that at all. But look, when you say stuff like that, you're daring fans to react in some way that is not going to be pretty. And I don't mean that they're going to riot. I mean they're going to just say, I'm washing my hands of this. I've had enough of it. And see, who that hurts are the universities and the NIL people who are trying to get money at this point, because you when do fans, and I think is what you're getting at, when do they say enough's enough? I'm not going to deal with this anymore.
One way for it to happen really, really fast is for a person that went to college, played college football, went to school. He earned it. He earned the free ride. He played hard. He was a good player, great player. Ryan Clark was at LSU on that Coach Nick Saban national championship team. for people to get in your face and tell you don't matter, people can show you real fast how much they matter, and they can vote with their pocketbook.
Yeah, and they will. They will. There is no question about that. And look, people are doing a slow burn with this anyway. And here's the thing, the games on the field have always saved us. And and to Brett's point, Bryant, when do we get to the point to where even the games on the field and whoever we are, our favorite uniforms out there, and folks say, for the here and the now, I don't care.
Brian and I started the show today. Brian, we started this show today talking about the 8-8 plucky St. Louis Cardinals, but we really were talking more about the crowds in St. Louis. If I would have never believed a Monday night crowd like that was last night, what they fear for tomorrow afternoon at 12 noon, and that was without telling their fans that they don't matter. It can happen. People can have a way of the bungee cord swinging back in their direction, and Brent, very astute for you. What always has saved college football is we get to the stadiums, we get to the tailgates, we get with our friends, we get with new and old friends alike, and that bails it out. For everybody out there, whenever that second, third loss hits next year, there are going to be people checking out.
No doubt, but because they're going to be, and before they check out, some of these players are going to be checking out. That if they ever checked in is part of the problem with this. The average person, I mean, frankly, in particular where we live here in the South, and that's all we basically have known, and I'm glad of it too. But one thing I've learned from living in the South and Florida, Alabama, and Texas all of my life is most people are good people. They're not going to riot. They're not going to burn things down. But when they've had enough, they will let you know with their pocketbook and their feet. And it may be I would say maybe a quiet majority. It very well may not be a very quiet majority.
I was thinking another anatomical part very close to the pocketbook.
Yeah, no question about that. But see, comments like that start trickling down, and it doesn't take long for people to get enough of it.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. I mean, and now you look, it feels like, this is kind of backfired on Nico. You're seeing reports out there. Obviously, he's made it, or I guess his team has made it public what he was asking for from Tennessee. Now you're seeing teams being reported that they're not interested in going after him in the portal. Some reports saying that there are teams out there that could be interested if his asking price gets down to $1 million. I mean, what teams do you think are going to be involved? Most teams that are at the level he likely wants to be at, they already have their quarterback locked up. They have money locked up in that quarterback. It feels like this is really backfiring on him.
Well, the geniuses who have been consulting with him, I don't think they took this into consideration. No. I mean, I've seen UCLA, Tulane. I heard what Brett said a minute ago. North Carolina's obviously said no. And he may be sitting out this year, and that will be the price that he's going to pay. Look, he is at a crossroads in his life, and this is a very important moment for him. In the Old Testament, this is your Kadesh Barnea moment, where you can either go one direction or the other direction, and the one you decide is going to depend and decide what his life is going. The first thing he needs to do is say, Dad, I love you, but I'm getting a real agent, someone who really understands this and who is going to take care of me, and get someone who knows what they're doing so that his future will be better than his immediate present.
Brother Brent goes full Old Testament on us. I was just going to go Yogi Bear in the fork in the road.
Yeah, tomato, right? basically the same thing. But no, I mean, it just it is very weird. If he sits out, I mean, what will that mean for him? I mean, we're already having the conversation of he's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. If he sits out, I mean, what does that look like when he's looking for a school in the fall or in December?
And if he sits out looking for an SEC school in 26.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, he would have to be a whole heck of a lot better than he was this past season, frankly. And Tennessee won the games they did because of Dylan Sampson and the front seven on their defense.
That tight end.
Yeah, there's no question about that. So, and look, again, I mean, that may just be a hard lesson for him. And I'm not trying to disparage the kid here, but the reality is all three of us at one time or another have been faced with a tough decision, and he's got to start making them. Otherwise, he's going to have a very sad life before it's over.
Boy, it is frightening for me to think of at 20, $2, $4, $6, $8 million decision making.
It is, isn't it?
No kidding.
I'm afraid it would have been a poor one, a poor decision made.
Well, probably. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Your mama's like my daddy. There would have been some wisdom there, and there would have also been some strong language.
Well, I went against her wishes on a lot less than $2, $4, $6, or $8 million on some things.
Oh yeah,
so,
well, no doubt about that.
And paid dearly for them. Brent, we love to talk the yesterday, today, and tomorrow in college football, and one of the really colorful figures from college football in the past that we loved and had a lot of friends here in Memphis. Brother Bill Oliver, the great defensive coordinator, the architect of the 1992 Alabama defense, and the game plan that he had for Gino Torretta. I would love to see a Gino Torretta quote about the passing of Bill Oliver, because he had no clue for him in that mighty Miami Hurricane team. And Gino Torretta won the Heisman that year, had no answer for Alabama that day. And he coached here in the USFL with the Showboats and had a lot of friends. He was really close with the late Logan Young and other Alabama fans in Memphis. But 1992 and what he did with that defense, Curry and Copeland, Lemansky Hall, Memphis and Chris Donnelly in the secondary, it was a fun time, wasn't it?
Well, as you can imagine, living down here at that point, the Miami fans, I mean, it was. I had somebody tell me last night that they went to the game in New Orleans, and they sat down at a table by a group of Miami fans, and those Miami fans said, "We will bet you $100, $1,000, $10,000, $15,000 that there is no way Alabama could win that game." That's how confident they were. I mean, at one point, Oliver had 11 Alabama defensive players at the line of scrimmage, which is amazing. But my brother Brett, my other brother Brett, who does radio in Florence, actually had Bill on his show. I'm curious if you guys did, or Brett, that you did years ago. So it was a great interview.
Years ago, I did. Right after late 90s, I guess right after it was over at Auburn. That was later than that. I did, and he loved his time in Memphis with the Showboats.
I'm sure. And listen, Bryant, think about this a minute. If Bill Oliver was in his prime today, he would be the highest paid defense coordinator in the nation.
$4 million.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's how good he was, frankly. Now, what I didn't know was, his nickname was Brother. Bill had a sister, and her nickname was Sister.
Of course it was.
So,
and we remember all the angst when he left Coach Stallings' staff to go to Auburn, and I, like many other Alabama fans, just outraged over it. And our friend Larry White said, Brett, he's really going back to where it started. I didn't realize as a young, in his 20s football coach, until all that happened, he was with Coach Shug Jordan at Auburn before he was ever at Alabama after being a star on Coach Bryant's first national championship team.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know that or I've read that he and Gene Stallings butted head a few times.
Yeah,
because obviously Gene Stallings was a defensive coach. Also,
and a secondary guy like Brother
he
Oliver.
was. He was. Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. But and another interesting thing about here, from being down here, Spurrier was in his heyday when Oliver was in his heyday, and there were a lot of
Spurrier
thoughts.
loved him.
Yes, and my understanding is they consulted from time to time. Now, Brett, you may know the other story about this, but we had talked on and off for years that would Spurrier ever hire him as his D coordinator?
Oh, he tried.
That was my point. I really wanted to know how close that was to happening.
From what I understand, pretty close. He tried a couple of times, and Brother Oliver told him, said, look, good as friends we are and much respect we have, it might get a little combustible if we were in that same coaching room together.
Yeah.
But you need to get you a defense guy because Coach Spurrier made no pretense around it. He didn't know anything about defense. He didn't want to know anything about defense. He wasn't going to coach defense. You just get me the ball back. That's all I want you to do. And Brother Oliver told him, go hire Bob Stoops.
Oh yeah, well, and which is just tremendous. One of Spurrier's greatest quotes was they're in the staff meeting. They said, Coach, we're not real sure who our punter is going to be this year. Spurrier said, well, we don't plan on punting this season.
We don't need a punter.
That's great. That's great. Brent, what did you make of the news that came out yesterday that Colorado is going to retire both Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders' number at the spring game?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see a few more years there, but I certainly appreciate the way that they played. I thought they were going to come up and make a statue of them at one point too, before it's over.
Well, it's not too late to do that, Brent.
No, it's not. Oh no, I would agree with that. So I mean, congratulations to them if they do that. But I can tell you, there are probably some Colorado fans from yesteryear and Colorado players who are saying, "Look, those guys were they were good players, but I know some more who were close to being that good."
How about Eric Bimini? How about Saul and Nessie? I mean, you could go on and on. A couple of defensive guys even for the those Bill McCartney teams. Cordell Stewart. John Harden texted me about Cordell Stewart. Thank you, John. Yeah. My standard policy about any retired numbers, it's your business. You can retire whoever, whatever player you want to for whatever reason, whether everybody else thinks it's merited or not. I don't think there's much beef with Travis Hunter. He's got the Stiff Arm Award. He won the Heisman Trophy. And I'm looking at Colorado's other retired numbers. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter both someday may ascend to this, but Whizzer White was a great football player and ended up on the Supreme Court.
Sure did. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, if it's Associate Justice Sanders or Hunter someday, okay, all good. Rashawn Salam, the other Heisman Trophy winner at Colorado, I don't think anybody has much beef with that. No. And Brent, another one, number 11 for Bobby Anderson, running back, who still holds, Bryant, the Liberty Bowl single-game rushing record from 1969 against Alabama at my college football first game.
Wow. Yeah. How about
that? And I can tell you that game had something to do, that there were other factors of it. There were a lot of talking about Coach Bryant, as you know, Brad, should he retire after that? And about 2 years later, they installed the wishbone, and the rest is a lot of good history.
Sure was. And that stretch of years, Barrett lost in 68 in the Gator Bowl to Mizzou.
That's right.
Really got thumped pretty good by Colorado, 47-33 in the Liberty Bowl. And in 70, tied Oklahoma in the Bluebonnet Bowl. And that's when he said, we got to do something different.
Yes.
Went to the wishbone, and one of college football's most glorious chapters was written.
Wow.
It really makes you wonder if they had a playoff then, what they would have been like, because they They lost their initial game in the season, I know, in 74, 76, I believe. If they had a playoff, what they would have been during that time. But
It's been pretty lethal.
it wouldn't have. That's right.
Pretty good without a playoff.
That's right.
Coach Bryant kind of he ran the sport. The great story George Lapidus used to tell that he would call George and go, George, get your pencil. Here's the bowl games.
That's right. And listen, there's some people on the interstate right now that they think we're joking. We are not.
He ran the bowls.
He set the bowl schedule. There's absolutely no question about that.
George would have a copyright column, the next day. Every sports writer in the country is going, how's a guy in Memphis getting this? They were that tight, and the great stories, and then George never said this. This is my words from someone else around Coach Bryant. He set the bowls, and he took his own referees to the bowls.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good. Well, Brent, always a ton of fun. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Good. Can't wait, guys. Take care, okay?
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Have a great week.
Brent Beard joining us every week to talk some college football, and a lot to get to today with all of the news around college football. It feels like just each and every day, whether it's spring practice news, whether it's portal news, whether it's coaching news, we're getting more and more from the college football world.
Brian, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if any other people were told this or taught this. And, boy, this is a really macabre, horrible example I'm getting ready to give.
Okay.
I mean, it's almost just too terrifying. But the story is, if you're ever in an automobile accident and your car feels like it's submerging and it's filling with water, that the thing to do is relax, be calm. Nobody's going to do that.
Right.
Be calm. Let it fill almost all the way till you have some air, and the door will just pop open. But if you're fighting it the whole time, the pressurization won't let you pop the door open. Every April, May, and June, college football goes through this where the car fills up.
Oh, yeah.
And I just would beg people, the headlines are screaming, and they're not very flattering. You get that feeling every April, May, late April, May, into June. Boy, are we going to have college football next year? We are. It's going to be fine. We go through this every year. And then, as Brent said, we get to the games, and that's usually, almost always, 100% of the time, it's been the magic touch. But when you have TV analysts that had a great experience from college football telling you don't matter, and he used the word bump, B-U-M-P, he meant something else. He said bump college football. He meant blank college football.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's only going to get worse because, in this time, to begin with, for ever since we've had spring football, I guess there's things to talk about, but not really. And now with more teams not doing spring practice, people feel like they have to find something to talk about, something to write about, something to bring up with college football.
Here's who I could bump: Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears.
Yeah, and so I mean, they just, and especially on shows like that where it's the whole premise of the show is to be, argumentative and
it's practically Dave and Lance standing in front of the desk at 1960 Union Studio Wrestling.
It is what it is, and I feel like it's gonna get more and more like this as we eliminate spring ball. And
got a Bobby Anderson 69 Liberty Bowl and a Studio Wrestling hit in the same dialogue.
Somebody's got a chain.
I'm out.
I mean, Lannon's got a chain. How about that? So, but no, it is sad to see, like you said, guys that, had great college careers and,
just love trashing and pillorying. They love it.
Benefited so much from college football and just
lives
turn around
set. And they're great abilities. They're great abilities that Ryan Clark earned that scholarship at LSU.
Absolutely.
He earned it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing we talked about when Rob Fisher joined us after the All-Star game with the NBA. You've got guys on there that played in the NBA, that have covered the NBA for years and running it down. It's very weird to see, but I do think it's something that's only going to grow. Well, let's go ahead and get to another break. But before we do that, let me tell you about where you need to head out this afternoon or even into the weekend because it's beautiful weather outside. And so that means it's a perfect time to head out Frontier Western Store so you can walk into the new season in style. Family owned and operated since 1967. Give them a couple more years. Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands like Carhartt, Wrangler, and so much more. Check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dam Post, and Durango, just to name a few. Frontier Western Store, I mentioned it, I'll say it again, they're the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, but they've also got you covered with thousands of new shirts and jeans. Are you in the market for a new pair of jeans? Frontier has you covered with the newest selections from Wrangler and Ariat, and you'll love how easy it is to find the size and style for you. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch to check out the whole selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Go down and check out Frontier Western Store. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll break down tonight's game, Grizzlies and Warriors. We'll talk about it next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings along to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpet, tile, mattress, and shutters and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business. Go where you can buy with confidence because at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, no current inventory is affected by new tariffs. So come find your new ride at Gossett Mitsubishi, like 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid with a combined range of 420 miles. We Gossett at only $349 per month. Or take your pick from new 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Your choice, we Gossett. Only $399 a month. That's a brand spanking new Eclipse Cross or Outlander Sport. $399 a month. Plus, peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So forget the tariffs and remember to get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it and Gossett Motor Cars.
SCO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in-bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40. Where family and fun
traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. I'm looking at what appears to be a crash over here on the interstate. It's 240 westbound, just past Poplar before you get to that Quince Road overpass. Again, that's 240 westbound, slowing down a bit there all the way back to Poplar. Eastbound, well, that's a given this time of the afternoon. That's starting to pick up in the eastbound lanes on that side of town on 240 east up by Poplar. Give yourself extra time out here. It's starting to get busy, especially coming out of the Midtown area. Hey, dandelions, crabgrass, you want to get rid of all this in your yard? Call Lawn Solutions right now at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And we got to talk about the Grizzlies and Golden State later tonight on TNT. And Brett, I just saw this on Twitter. Do you buy into, good omens or, maybe, if this happens over here, it means good things for this over here on the other side? Do you buy into that? Do you subscribe to that? Or is everything just kind of by itself for you?
I'm the anti-karma guy.
Okay.
I just, Brian, I don't. I mean, I got a kind of a literal worldview about things, and it's very linear. I think most things do. Yeah, we affect
sure.
how we drive in traffic, and if you drive not smoking a blunt, as Sean Harden advised, you're much better off.
That's right.
Always better off. And we control things, but most of it is we're told it was it's bigger than all of us. Yes, and certainly in sports, you control going out on the defensive end and trying to play a little.
Right.
But I'm just not much for that you used up karma there. I'm not superstitious at all.
So you're not a good omens guy, is what I'm hearing.
I'm not.
Okay.
And one of the biggest things I'm not in sports is great bullpen session, or you should have seen Tiger here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We were here last month, and he would have shot 61. I like the facts. I like the competition, and I'm not much on kind of ephemeral things. Playing big into it, and that's the literal nature. I think that's one thing that sports is, that it's the literal nature of that scoreboard and that history book.
Sure. So
they're irrefutable.
What if I told you that there was another 7-8 play-in game that has already taken place, and it involved Coach Isilow's former team in Paris basketball? They were the 8th seed, played on the road as an underdog against a former dynasty, and won.
That's great. I don't think that's blank from Shinola to do with.
I'm an omen guy.
I don't think it has bump from Shinola to do with.
I like that.
Bump is our go-to word now.
Putting bump in your your vocabulary. I love it. So yeah, maybe a good omen there. But you're right. All of that's great. Grizzlies got to play some defense tonight, and that is they have bumped their defense over the last couple of months.
We've talked about it. I don't even know what my sign is. Read a goofy horoscope. I don't even know what it is. Don't want to know.
No, I don't.
I think it's the dumbest things ever.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, maybe.
I mean, people that would go pay a tarot card reader or something.
I'm definitely not into any of that. But
why don't you just get your money out and set it on fire?
Well, but Brett, you do know I am a sports superstitious person.
I'm not even a little stitious. I'm just not. You know what usually wins in sports?
What's
bigger
that?
and better?
Well, that's true. And I guess that takes us to tonight's game, where you've got the Grizzlies and the dynasty that has been, I guess still is, the Warriors, a team that has beaten you 3 times. They've been bigger and better than you most of the entire season. It doesn't feel like many people are very optimistic for tonight's game.
No, and why is how you finish. And we talk so much about the finish is what is often so remembered. We're there now in college football. We used to have a great system in college football where a lot of people sailed into the offseason just as happy as a bunch of others.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we won the dipstick bowl. Hey, great.
Yeah.
You know, but not now. We're much more literal now. We just saw it in college basketball. What a fun ride the Memphis Tigers took us all on from November 4th until Elimination Day in the NCAA tournament against Colorado State. What are we largely going to remember? How it ended. Son, 2 days ago, the ups and downs, the roller coaster that everybody was on. You know, in 30 years, we're going to remember Rory and his, him being brought to his knee with how it ended. How it ended for the Grizzlies was horrific, and we feel like that is coming tonight or over this play-in, play-off period.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like it, and I think that is reflective on how a lot of people feel. You look at 2 teams that are going in 2 completely different directions. I remember earlier in the season where we were talking about, well, Golden State, are they in the play-in? Do they even make the play-in? Really struggling early, then really figuring it out. But since getting Jimmy Butler, they've been a team that has been playing really well. They're kind of on the rise. And then on the other side, the Grizzlies, ever since around trade deadline, around the All-Star break, have really been moving in the opposite direction. And so it feels like a stark difference in terms of teams. But you're going to need your guys to step up tonight if you want to be in this game. You're going to need Ja Morant. You're going to need Desmond Bane. You're going to need Jaren Jackson Jr., but you're also going to need those guys off the bench. Santi Aldama, can you give a spark off the bench? Who can be that spark
Can
off the
anybody
bench?
play a lick of defense?
Yeah.
The Grizzlies have pulled off almost, Bryant, defensively, the unthinkable, the unimaginable down the stretch. They don't get in front of anybody. It's either a straight line drive right to the rack, all but uncontested. Okay, so you give that up. You'll give that up because you're really defending 3-ball really well. They don't do that.
No.
Feet set, full in pregame, 2 hours before the game with nobody around guarding you, open shots.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing we've talked about for a really long time is, this team that gives up way too many open 3 balls, and you look up, and tonight you're playing one of the greatest 3-point shooters we've ever seen, and so that's not a recipe for success.
Let's try stopping one of the two, either no straight line drives or stop the 3.
Yeah, one of the
you
two.
Can't exist giving up both.
No,
in that last Thursday night, the defensive effort was bad. The offensive effort only scoring 14. And the big 3 collectively of that 14 had 3. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's right. Yeah.
And now we got full, out of whack, kind of in some funk mode. Jaren.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, in a game like this, you need all 3 of those guys on, and Jaren, on kind of both ends of the court, has kind of been in a funk lately, and so you really need him. It's all hands on deck tonight, which is very easy to say. I mean, an NBA game that's a play-in game, everyone's got to be locked in, but it feels like against Golden State, you really need all hands on deck.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's one of the, as I said in my top story, it would be one of the top wins in team history. It'd be one of the biggest wins in team history, and then we can go to the game on Sunday in Houston and hope Houston goes young on us.
Yeah.
Goes young like the Grizzlies did in 2022 and really couldn't handle that pressure. But if it doesn't, we're going to be able to look back at plenty of things, how it really was from All-Star break on. For sure, from being the 2 seed February 27th to now, just barely in the tank game, the complete dive organizationally that they took in that March 1st game, and then got got Tommy Isolo out there auditioning.
Yeah.
Trying to hang on to be the permanent head coach.
Yeah, I mean it's so weird how this season has ended, and to see not only the team struggling, then the coaching change, and it doesn't make you feel good. And so, I think you're hoping for a win tonight, but then, if you don't win tonight, it's going to be I don't even know how to say it, because we've talked about it's a lose-lose if you lose tonight. And at least Vegas is saying the Golden State Warriors.
What the goofy horoscope would say for tonight?
That's a great question. We should. I don't know if you can ask a horoscope to predict. That might be the thing.
It's not like Gronk, is it?
Well, that's what I'm curious. Can you go to a horoscope or a fortune teller and ask them for picks? Because that might be what we need John Harden on. Is this weekend
we would
hook him up with a fortune teller or a horoscope, have him have a list of games, get picks, and see if he's profitable from it.
I can't imagine somebody just literally so ignorant to depend on reading their horoscope.
It's very weird to me, but it is.
They're out there breathing the same air the rest of us are.
Yeah, and they need a horoscope to tell them if their day is going to be good or not.
I don't need to look to the stars. I look to the person that created the stars.
Amen to that. But hopefully Grizzlies, hopefully their horoscope is kind to them tonight against Golden State. Again, 9:00 game on TNT, a national televised game only. We will not have the FanDuel Sports crew on tonight's game for this road one against Golden State. And again, Brett, don't forget, 9:00, but that means about 9:10, maybe later, is when this game will start. So
call 12 for me.
Well, yeah, you're calling 12. When it hits 12, your lights are out. So that will be something I will be keeping an eye on, is early on, what does the score look like and when Brett's going to turn it off. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Kubota Orange Days are here, so come see them Saturday, April 26th for food, fun, and a lot of Kubota Orange. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and personal RTVs, get your perfect match. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months on select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com. Kubota Orange Days, Saturday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. with Sports 56 and Pat Larry's Barbecue from 11 to 1. First choice, Farm and Lawn, 701 Highway 64 in Keys.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action at Simmons Liberty Stadium on Sunday, May 11th, as they face the St. Louis Battlehawks with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. Come see all the football action of the UFL and join us as we celebrate our mascot Skipper's birthday. Treat Mom to a Mother's Day she'll never forget, with more fun, more excitement, and more Showboats football. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Spring is in the air, and that means it's time to get your Choate's AC tune-up. Choate's has proudly served the Mid-South for 67 years, and to celebrate, we're offering our AC tune-up for just $67 per unit. Make sure your system is running efficiently before the summer heat arrives. But hurry, this special offer won't last long. And if you're thinking about upgrading your system, now's the time. Install a new Carrier HVAC system and choose your deal. Up to $2,100 in instant cool cash rebates, 60 months no interest financing, or free air duct cleaning with install. It's time to spring clean with Choate's and enjoy cleaner air, better comfort, and big savings. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to schedule your service today. Turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
It's time for the ultimate hot wing showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival, Saturday, April 26th at the Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy, along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll, all in support of the Ronald McDonald House. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com, sponsored by RS Financial Group, Bank 3, ATC Fitness, and Universal Access. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
Sports 56.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number is the number 10. I don't know how many people are watching the LA Angels to start the season, but they have a fun young player that is getting some good reps out there. A lot of it has been injuries. Don't know if he will be the everyday guy either in the outfield or second base all season, but right now he's playing well. My big number 10, Angels' Kyron Paris became the first player earlier this year, first player since Larry Walker to hit 5 or more runs and steal 4 or more bases in the first 10 games of the season. Paris was called up last season in May, played 21 games in that stretch, only hit 118 with 1 home run and 5 RBI. In the offseason, made a swing change, worked with Aaron Judge's private hitting coach, and now to start the season in 38 at-bats to start the year, he is hitting .368 with 5 home runs, 8 RBI. So a much better start to the season than the way he started last year. Maybe a guy that sticks around, only 23 years old. Maybe a guy that can be the face of the Angels, for the future post Mike Trout.
Keep Trout healthy. See if they can maybe get in one of those wild cards in the postseason. Lee mentioned Larry Walker, one of the great base runners of all time, and a huge, big man running those bases. I mean, he's about 6'3", 6'4", 220, but he knew how to run the bases, taught very well. The Canadian, Larry Walker, great player. My big number today is 42 for Jackie Roosevelt Robinson Day, and I wanted to go make sure I was right on this. I had to look it up. I was, but I wanted to make sure. There's been one player in Memphis Grizzlies history to wear number 42, and very apropos, the late Lorenzen Wright. Lorenzen Vern Gagne Wright, the only player in Grizzlies history to wear 42. It won't be retired. It shouldn't be retired. I just hope they never, ever issue it to anyone and keep it that way for Lorenzen Wright. And Landon, as much as you like professional wrestling, you need to do some background on Vern Gagne, the wrestler, and Herb Wright, Lorenzen's dad, loved him so much, named it middle name, full name for Vern Gagne, the great wrestler. Lorenzen wore 55 at the University of Memphis, and I always liked him a lot. Loved Alvin, liked Herb, liked Lorenzen, and we shared the same birthday.
Wow.
Birthday, not date. I had him by 13 years, but we had the same day together.
Wow, how about that? That is a really good nugget. How about, can I throw one more big number out to you? And this actually comes from Scotty Oates on Twitter, who tagged me in this. Maybe another good omen, Brett. The omens feel good on this side of the screen. I don't know about on your side of the screen, but at least over here, omens feel good. The Golden State Warriors have played 3 play-in games. They're 0-3 in those play-in games. Lost back last year in the play-in 23-24. Lost in the play-in against Sacramento, 118-94. And then way back in the 2020-21 season, lost to the Lakers in the first play-in game, then lost to the Grizzlies in the second play-in game. Maybe a good omen there.
That's right. The Grizzlies advanced to play Utah in one game, one of that series.
That's right. So maybe some history on the Grizzlies side.
That was really coming out of COVID. That was still limited crowds for a little bit, and then the next wave it was full crowds and into the summer, and everybody was rolling up their sleeve and really trying to come out of COVID during that.
Yeah, that was a weird time. Glad we're out of that time.
Right.
Yeah. Much different times we are in now, but we'll see if the Grizzlies can continue the Golden State woes tonight. Only problem is that a lot of those games were on the road for Golden State. This one will be a cozy one at home in the Chase Center. But,
yeah, well, you hope the crowd gets there and they're thinking it's easy peasy. Just try to make it a last 4-minute game and finish strong for a change.
Yeah. And I think, the one thing.
I sure want it. I want it for the franchise. There's a better than puncher's chance over 7 games in 2 weeks with
Definitely,
Houston
definitely.
than this one shot tonight with Golden State. And I want it for the team because it's big money that they don't have to share with anybody for those home playoff games. I want that for the team.
I think you feel pretty good if you're the Grizzlies and you win tonight against the Rockets. You know,
It'll perk a lot of people up.
You've played really close with the Rockets this season, so I think, you certainly have a chance there in a 7-game series, but obviously.
But I've seen these last 6 weeks. I just keep coming back to that. It's a big body of work.
Definitely. And I think the big thing is we've seen way too many times this year and certainly over the last handful of weeks that big quarter that opposing team has. Whether it's the Minnesota, you're right in there in that game with them, and they go out and score 52, or that fourth quarter against the Nuggets where you're leading at the end of the third quarter and they go out and limit you to 14 points in the fourth quarter. You can't let the Warriors have one of those quarters. I remember the last time Warriors were here, we were at that game. Again, thank you to Sissy's Log Cabin for those seats.
Sure.
It was the 45-point first quarter where the Warriors got out there. So you can't have that tonight.
Everybody, it is that time of year. If you want to know where all the great Chevys are, well, they're at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. That's where the deals are. That's where the Chevys are. First exit on Kraft Goodman Road. As you enter into Mississippi on Highway 78, take that and you're there in Olive Branch at All-Star, where you can save thousands on your new Silverado truck. Financing as low as 2.9 for 72 months. A new 2500 HD with financing as low as 3.9. No payments for 90 days. Nothing beats having no payments for the rest of the summer. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star with Drew DePriest and his great team. If you're a member of law enforcement, educator, first responder, healthcare worker, military, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus back instantly. All-Star with all the late model pre-owns you can be looking for. Camaros, Tahoes, Suburbans, Equinox, and a ton of Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star. Whether you bought it there or not, they'll give you the most back and the best deal for your trade. Everyone at All-Star in Olive Branch, they want everyone in our listening audience have a very special Easter week and Easter month. Together, let's drive to All-Star. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to another break, wrap up this hour, and when we return, we're talking the NFL with Bo Marchant.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Memphis. In the wake of the large storm systems that passed through the Mid-South, our 8 shingle crew, 3 TPO commercial flat roof crews, and even 2 metal and tile crews are all out assisting policyholders. We won't stop until all have been restored to pre-storm condition. Many homes throughout the Mid-South were hit by hail, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and yes, even 2-inch hail fell in the Mid-South. Many times hail damage will go unnoticed. Many people think it's no big deal. However, shingles and yes, even metal roofs are compromised. In time, show signs of leaks and on metal leaks, rust due to breaking the coating, which in turn ends up leaking. If you had hail and high winds, look up, or better yet, have us come look up for you. Water left unattended will turn into health issues in the home or business. Our staff will perform inspections free. That's right, free. Inspections of all the roof, attic, and interior to ensure that no shingle panel or insulation go unturned. Call Metro Builders now. Call us. 375-1717. That's 375-1717. Or check us out online at metrobuildersmemphis.com.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep Celebration all in one at Gunnison Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP and $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off or $397 a month. Rock with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard, one of the most powerful SUVs in its class, or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class payload capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossip Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossipMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossip Motor Cars.
6704, MSRP 29765, Hornet R3 A08 452, MSRP 44620, Ram SN 673 402, MSRP 517, includes all rebates and incentives, GF 895, excludes tax title license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid to end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Winchester and more. Guaranteed lowest prices at time. Only vending bar in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections, appraisals, and free bar setting for the upcoming beer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsInMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Georgia Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Good afternoon. It's pretty busy trying to get out of Midtown on 240 southbound at South Parkway. Watching it crank up even more on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. As you get onto Bill Morris Parkway, it's just that time of day for that to get pretty heavy out past Kirby. Riverdale continuing on in to Collierville. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go see them now. You'll save a lot of money by shopping early at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Once again.
All right, back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour. We're only a little more than a week away from the NFL draft, so let's go ahead and talk NFL with Bo Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL, and there is a lot to talk about as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. Let's start with one of the quarterbacks that will go, looks like will go really high in the NFL draft. Shedeur Sanders will take part in a private workout for the Giants. They have the number 3 pick. It feels like a lot of people mocking him in the top 3, in the top 5. But last week, Brett had odds on where guys will be selected. I believe his spot that is on Sportsbooks is around over-under 9.5. So where do you think we'll see Shedeur Sanders taken a little more than a week from now?
Yeah, that New York's sitting at number 3. I think they just have to do their due diligence and bring in the young man. And get another look at him and knowing him more personally than what they were allowed to at the Shrine Game and at the NFL Combine. They have 2 vets. We know that they have Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson in house. I look at the Giants. I just think they're just making sure that they're doing 2 things. They want to make sure they're going to take him, or they're going to make sure they don't want to take him. And I know that sounds, it's 50-50, but that's exactly what this is. It's, do we feel comfortable with what we have? Do we feel more comfortable maybe taking a guy on day 2 on Friday night in the 2nd or 3rd round, a guy that Brian Daboll maybe thinks that he can develop into a starter, and they know they're on a short leash? Do they buy more time taking a guy like Sanders and along with the veterans? So I think it's New York just doing their due diligence We know that David Carr news broke out of New Orleans, so it's kind of all pegged that New Orleans now is all in on Shedeur Sanders, which could be a logical thing. I mean, I thought they could take a quarterback anyways prior to the David Carr news, or Derek Carr news. I'm sorry, Derek Carr news. But nonetheless, it's I just think at this point, all these teams, you're just doing your due diligence, making sure that you have a good grasp of a guy that you may select or a guy that you may elect not to select. And I think that's what New York's doing. And I'd love to tell you here, sitting on the 15th of April, I know exactly what New York's going to do. But I would say I'd be more inclined to think that they don't take quarterback at 3 than I would think that they do take a quarterback at 3. But again, I didn't think the Colts were ever going to take Anthony Richardson at 4, and they took Richardson at 4. So,
all-time Giants taking first-round quarterbacks way back in 1979. Phil Simms worked out fabulously. They take Phillip Rivers.
They do. They take Phillip Rivers
in 2004. But that really turned into Eli Manning. And in 2019, they take Daniel Jones, and that did not work out famously.
Yeah, it didn't. Listen, we know this draft class of quarterbacks, it's not, nobody's clamoring to get these guys. And if that was the case, then Cleveland would be settled on Shedeur Sanders at 2, and it wouldn't even be a case where the Giants would even get to him unless they moved up into the top 2 spots. So I just think we know that going in, that this quarterback class, you like them, but you don't love them as we love some other prospects coming through this evaluation process. And that's where we're at. It's 2 weeks away. New York, they're sitting in a position where you could take a generational type talent, Abdul Carter, or maybe you get Travis Hunter, or you trade down. Maybe another team elects to move up and take a Sanders or takes an Abdul Carter or a Hunter. And that's the fun part about this is, the jockeying that's going to go up and down that draft board on round 1, I think it's going to be there. We know that. The past has proven the numbers right, that trades will happen. And you just don't know what these war rooms are thinking in terms of how much they love an individual prospect and how much they want to give up and sacrifice to move up and take one of these guys. And I know I read Dallas Cowboys news today. Brian, I'm sure you read it, where Stephen Jones said they'd be more, inclined to possibly trade down than trade up, which they did last year as well. So, it's one of them things about, you're in this, and I look at it as, you do all this work, you really fall in love with a particular player. If you have the means to get him where they don't break your bank, move up and take the guy, or vice versa. If you feel comfortable dropping down a little bit, adding draft capital or a player, and getting the guy you still want, why not do it? It just makes perfect sense. But I don't think New York takes Shedeur Sanders at 3 at this point. I'd just be I'd be surprised more than not surprised. I just think it's going to be Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, or a team moves into that spot to take one of those 2 players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get to the Cowboys here in a minute, because I do want to talk about the Cowboys and what they could do next week in the draft. But sticking with Colorado stars, Travis Hunter came out earlier today talking with CBS Sports. He said that all the teams he's met with so far leading into the draft have made no issue of him playing both sides of the field, and that if a team did have issue with that, that would be a deal breaker for him. It sounds like we could see Travis Hunter playing both sides in the NFL, but also these teams, it's very easy before the draft to say, oh yeah, we love you on both sides of the ball, and then after the draft, things go a little different.
Bo, that's like in recruiting. If they play another sport, you can play basketball, you can play baseball. Yeah. We love sport guys. Then they get there, you got to stop all that.
Yeah, you know what it is? It comes down to, can you play both? And we know you did it fabulously at Colorado. 700-plus snaps on both sides of the ball, Heisman, all the accolades that come with being a fantastic collegiate athlete. Now you're in professional football. Just because you're going to be a top 5 pick, Corey Davis from the Titans was a top 5 pick. How did he work out from Western Michigan? Not very well. So, you're going to get to training camp, you're going to get to rookie OTAs and all that stuff, and they're going to find out, can you play one position? And then they're going to be hoping that you can play 2 positions at an elite level. You're not at Colorado. You're not covering guys that aren't in the league anymore. You're covering the best of the best in the world at these positions. And I like his appetite and his desire to want to play both. and we know he's a football junkie. He lives, breathes, and loves the sport, which I admire. But again, at the end of the day, it's how is that talent going to translate to the pro level? And all these guys at this point, especially a top 5 pick, it looks like there's a no-brainer. That it's an absolute sealed case. There's no room for, bust. But busts do happen. I'm not saying he's going to be one, but, before he gets into the mindset that I'm not going to play if I don't play both sides, well, let's just hope you can figure out one side and be really fabulous at that. Remember, he's not going in the second or third round. We're talking about a top 5 pick. You have to be elite. And I believe he's more of elite of a receiver than he is a defensive back. I think if he was solely a defensive back, you're talking, bottom half of the first round. I don't think you're looking at Patrick Peterson type, draft grade of this guy coming out. So I think the versatility is the plus. But again, I almost feel that versatility, it's a magnificent thing to have at the collegiate level. But I do think it gets, it advantages, it gets drained a little bit when you reach this elite level because, to think that you're going to line up against, I've said it before, you're just going to line up and, half practice because you're playing one position and you're going to line up against, Jamar Chase on Sundays. It's just not going to happen. I mean, these guys have to be diligent at both positions. And the wear and tear, we know we're moving to 18 games soon. I think it's a great talking point, but I think the reality of it is I'd be shocked if he's playing both positions at elite level and both positions to the level that he did at Colorado, where you're basically splitting those types of snaps. I can see him being a situational player on defense, things of that nature. Maybe if there's just say your DB goes down on a certain set of downs and you need to fill him in, maybe in that case. But to me, to think that he's going to play a full game or nearly a full game, I think at this point that's a lot to ask. And him, I know he's convinced that he wants to do both, and he thinks he can do both, and maybe he can. But even with that said, I just don't see it happening. I just think it's a little far-fetched to think that, we're going to get this dynamic, guy that can do everything. I mean, as great as Dion was, he was a special teamer and a defensive back. He wasn't a receiver. He was a fantastic player. But to think that, I just don't put it this way. I just don't think we're getting a Justin Jefferson and a Charles Woodson on the other side. I think you can get one or the other, but I don't think we're getting both.
And there's a reason why from high school to college, it mostly eliminates playing both ways, and we've really never had a true every down successful guy do it in a long time in the NFL. You mentioned the idea of 1 week covering Jamar Chase and then going out on an offensive pattern. How about the next week having to come up and run support against Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the things, and you don't, if you're, and that's what it is, if you're counting on this guy to be, just say you want him to be your receiver number one.
He'll live in the cold.
You don't want to lose him. Like you said, you don't want to lose him because he has to put his lower his shoulder and take the brunt of a Derrick Henry coming at him. So it's a physical game, and we know that. I just think it's a little bit far-fetched to think that he can, at this early, especially now, in a rookie, I mean, you haven't even been there yet. I think just it's a lot to ask of not only himself, but just a lot to think about in terms of him being able to play both sides of the ball as he wants to do it, as he did it at Colorado. Not saying he can't, not saying he can develop into that. I would just lean on the side that I don't think it's going to happen, and I think once he gets there and he realizes that this is a business and we know what you want to do, and this isn't college anymore. You have a boss, you have a superior. They're going to tell you what they need from you. You're going to collect your paycheck, and you want to hold out, get traded. But I think it's going to go back to the same thing, that you're eventually going to become a one-positional player, which is a good thing. I think in long-term success for Travis Hunter, I think that's the best thing. I mean, I think he's a fantastic talent. I think he's the top receiver in this draft class, so I'm not knocking him in terms of that. I just think the idea of playing both sides at an elite level, at the next level, I don't get into it.
Ashton Jeanty will be the first running back selected. He'll go fairly early. How long do we wait until the next running back, and who will it be?
No, I think Brian. I mean, I think you could start as early as Chicago at 10. I think you go 12 to the Cowboys, and I think I doubt the Steelers would do it again just because they have so many other needs. But you can never rule out Pittsburgh and just a running back. They took Najee Harris a couple years ago. I think you look at the Denver Broncos; they're right there, and I think Denver would be after Denver, then I think it gets a little trickier on where he goes. But I think those are the teams that would covet having a type of talent as Hampton to bring in. But those would be the teams I immediately think of that look like not surefire bets, but teams that, really, in terms of value too, 10, 12, 20 for Denver. I think those are realistic landing spots. You're not saying, oh, he's going, 8 to the Jets. Well, I know who the Jets have in the backfield already, but I just think in terms of value, I think you could realistically say 10, okay, 10 to 12, and then again, you're looking at Denver at number 20, and even San Diego, even Los Angeles. I doubt they would do it because they brought in Harris, but we know Harbaugh loves to run the football and have two battering rams like Harris and Hampton in the backfield. I don't think that will happen, but draft night always throws those crazy things at you where you never think of running back's going to go somewhere. Perfect example, I believe Ricky Waters was in Seattle when they took Sean Alexander. And I think the last player anyone thought that Seattle would take would be Ricky Waters, and lo and behold, he's accompanying Sean Alexander on draft night. So it's I have many other examples like that, but running back is that odd position where you don't think it's going to happen, and lo and behold, they add another one.
Harbaugh loves to run the ball. It's almost like he cut his teeth around Bo Schembechler and Mike Dick, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one fun thing I thought watching him rebuild that Michigan program is he stuck to tough defense, build in the trenches, offense and defensive, and then run the football. And you think of the type of talents that Michigan defense has brought during the hype of Harbaugh's tenure there, and these will be the last of his draft classes kind of coming through the process as he builds his NFL career back up. But look at this year. You're talking possibly three Michigan Wolverines in round one, which is on the defensive
Mason
side.
Graham
So that's pretty exquisite. Yeah.
Well, Bo, you mentioned the Cowboys. Maybe they get a running back. Maybe they trade down. Who knows what they do? I've seen a lot of mock drafts that say running back or wide receiver, but that's been very rare for the Cowboys in this century. They've only taken 3 offensive weapons in the first round. 2010, Dez Bryant, 2016 with Zeke, and then most recently in 2020 with CD. Do you think this year they make it 4 times this century and go with either a running back or a wide receiver in the first round?
I would be a little reluctant to think that. I know that's the fun position. You always want your favorite teams to take the skill guys. Nobody's excited with the 300-pound tackle. On game day, you're happy when he's protecting everybody.
You like Zach
but on
Martin
draft
in
night,
the career he had.
Yeah. It's like getting socks at Christmas. You don't want them, but, when your other socks have holes in them, man, you're happy to have socks without holes. You'd rather have a shiny toy truck. I don't know. I wish I could tell you guys. I think they're going to. I think secondary.
What do you think they should take? What do you think they should take in the first round?
I don't think Will Johnson would be there, but I think a defensive back like Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, even adding an edge guy like Mike Green or Michael Williams to pair with I think those even the interior. In terms of value, you got. Derek Harmon might be in a little early, the kid from Oregon. But I don't think they're good enough to spoil themselves on a running back or a receiver. Yeah. And and absent of Hunter, and I know McMillan is fantastic. But I don't know if they'd want another guy like McMillan. CeeDee Lamb is such a possession guy, but he's not that elite guy in terms of speed. I think you just want a little bit of a mix of pace, and I think McMillan would be more along the CeeDee Lamb lines. I know he's a long stride guy, he's a Drake London type body, but I don't know if you want to get a slower model of a CeeDee Lamb. Maybe Golden out of Texas. He's a little bit of a quicker athlete, but then when I look at Golden, he kind of really came up the last couple games at Texas, and then he really had a fantastic combine, so his numbers are through the roof, but he is really that guy. So can you just get this guy on day 2, or maybe even move in the back and the N1 and still get some of these receivers? So that's where I look for the Cowboys. I think I would go DB or our defense. It just seems like they keep searching for I know they have Parsons, we know that, but the defensive front is a little bit of a mess. I know they tried to kind of fortify it in a couple of drafts. I know Mazi Smith, he never really worked out. So that interior, to me, is a little weak. but I think you need to build that up and then just build it back. So I'm thinking defense for the Dallas Cowboys at 12, if they stay at 12, and even if they drop down, I would think that they would stick with the idea of building that defense. But again, I wish I knew, because if I knew, I'd be betting on DraftKings and FanDuel and every other website known to man and putting what I have down. But at this point, at number 12, put it this way, I'll say defense. That's about as much as I can give you with defense, no offense. Meaning they'll take offense in round one.
Our guest is Bo Marchant on the Sissy Log Cabin guest line. He's with us every Tuesday, year-round, talking the NFL. And 9 days from now, he will be at Lambeau Field in Green Bay for the draft. That's a big thing to cover and to celebrate. But you're also getting ready to celebrate 10,000 days in a row of your run. Tell our listeners how far you run every day and when will you hit 10,000?
Oh, thanks, Brett. Well, I try to do 3 miles bare minimum. 3 miles is the bare minimum, but I try to do 6 to 8, 6 to 10 every day. But May 21st, I will be again in Montreal. I'm going to run on the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Formula One track there, and it was kind of nice. I had a Zoom call with some of the people from the park up in Montreal this morning, and they were so accommodating. They were like, whatever you need, let us know. We want to make this happen. We want to make it, as enjoyable and as fun for you as possible. So that was really nice to know that, they're going to support it, and there's not going to be any reluctancy or anything in terms of me being there or anything else. Not that they care about a guy running, but nonetheless, they're putting it into their mindset to make it special for me, which I'm very appreciative of. So May 21st, it's a Wednesday, and I will be in Montreal. And I don't know how that'll work on that Tuesday. I think we can talk to each other from Canada. So we'll still be able to do the show on Tuesday night, but I will be in Montreal that particular night.
That's
Bo, I've never asked you, how old are you?
I'm 53.
That is even more.
Sure is.
You don't look it. Bo, I really thought you were now about 45.
Yeah, well, I feel 90. That makes you feel any better.
No way. You got the best resting heart rate
right.
in the world. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that you cover and cover so well, have a lot of friends in the organization and with the media around the Steelers. They gifted you an autographed football celebrating 10,000 from the head coach, Mike Tomlin. How special, how kind.
Yeah, there's certain things, and, you just – I saw that today, and I sent you the photo, and it did. It really touched my heart. It's nice to know that you're around the same organization for that long, and you hope it goes a little bit deeper than just showing up and writing stories. And they are a family-based franchise and organization, and to see that football. We have she's not my girlfriend, but she's a girl. She's a friend, so she's a girlfriend. But she's been very proactive in doing so many things, just like this Montreal, getting a hold of the track and all these sort of things. And I didn't know the football was coming. And, these are things that she's done on her own to kind of, help celebrate, this special occasion for me. So, again, just so many thanks to everybody. It's been a wonderful thing. And I don't know how much time we have, but she's raised almost $7,000 worth of donations and whatnot, and we're going to have a big party the weekend of that May 24th or 5th.
Remarkable.
And we're gonna raffle all that off. There's a Rock for Reason charity. It goes to terminally ill people in our area and cancer victims, and then they're going to create a scholarship as well for the cross country team. So that money's going to go to that. So and that's all based on everything that my wife, family, and friends and what they've been able to kind of accomplish. And I'm too lazy. I just want to run and watch scouting reports. So
keep it simple. Huh?
Yeah. Keep it simple. Well, that's awesome, Bo. That is definitely really, really cool. Well, enjoy.
I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, no, absolutely are. Enjoy the rest of the scouting ahead of next week's NFL draft, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Yeah, real quick, we need a big trade to fall. We need a big move to come down before draft night. Things have been too quiet. So.
Been very quiet.
We'll
Hopefully we get it. Thanks, Bo.
Yep, stay safe, gentlemen.
Thank you, Bo. You stay safe. Bo Marchant with us every week talking the NFL, and what a day. May 21st,
Yeah.
10,000 straight
That's
days of
incredible.
minimum 3, usually
Man,
around
insane.
6 or more
Insane.
in any weather.
It's incredible. I could never even imagine doing that.
It's unimaginable.
It's foreign language to me, but good for him. He deserves
It is.
all of it.
It is some accomplishment. What word would you describe right now for Jackson Dart's draft prospects? Going well or going the other direction?
I think it's going well. If I had to choose any word, I would say bubbly. Ooh, what a word to describe Jackson Dart. It feels like it's brewing.
He's dependent on others.
He has
the quicker Shedeur goes, the better for him.
Yes. It just feels like he's kind of, if he was a meal, he's kind of like bubbling in the water, and like maybe he makes that jump, maybe he doesn't. But I think it's going to be a good Thursday for him. I saw. I guess it was earlier today, or maybe it was last night, the invitees to the draft got announced.
Mm-hmm.
He was on that list, one of 17 that are going to be there. We talked about that last week. There's going to be somebody that is still sitting there at the conclusion of round one. It's always kind of an awkward moment. Hopefully it's not his awkward moment, but it will be somebody's. But a lot of good names that are going to be there next Thursday.
The Dallas Cowboys and the Saints are the only two teams to only have ever drafted one quarterback in the first round. The Cowboys with Troy Aikman and the Saints with Archie Manning.
Yeah.
So, the Saints, they might.
They could. They certainly could.
I don't think they'll let Shedeur Sanders drop
No,
past them.
No. You're right. It feels like depending on what happens with Shedeur really depends on what happens with Jackson Dart. And you're absolutely right. I mean, looking at what the Cowboys have done, it's never anything super flashy. It's things that they need. It's those needs, but it's usually the line, either offensive, defensively, linebackers.
Keep Jerry Wayne out of the draft room.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, let's get the submarine back out this year for the draft. Why not?
What they ought to do is just take his cell phone from him.
Yeah. Just hey Jerry, go enjoy the day. Nothing happening today. We'll take your phone and everything and come back, go on a retreat or something for the weekend.
It's his team. Tonight we're going to be watching these games and enjoying the NBA playoffs. And whether you're getting ready to go out for dinner or you want to go out and get food and bring it back to the house, keep Jason's Deli in mind. All the great locations. I promise you, there's one close to you on Ridgeway Road in Park Place, across from MUS by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland, out in Cordova, down in Olive Branch, all that great food that's great and good for you. And for a catering event, keep them in mind. For this weekend with a lot of family coming in, keep them in mind. And keep them also in mind for the bulk desserts like the strawberry shortcake for everybody to enjoy with the great spread I know people will enjoy on Easter Sunday. Bringing more to the table. It's a family thing. 5 or 5,000, they have you covered for our catering. When you feel like you don't have your event properly planned, step aside, let them step in, same day, last minute orders. That's when they really excel. Whether you're getting it to go, delivered, or dining in, wholesome food forever. It's a family thing with all the great locations and all the great food, like the salads off the menu, like the Chicken Club salad, the Big Chef salad, my favorite, the taco salad, or in every location, that great salad bar. Over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like. Throw all 30 into one salad and keep going back for more. Plenty of organic food to choose from. Trans fat free, healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. They were on the health kick a long time ago. They knew what was good and good for you. It's all about choice at Jason's Deli, catering anytime, anywhere. Those locations I mentioned at Ridgeway Road, out in Cordova, down in Olive Branch, and by the University of Memphis, and the complimentary free ice cream in every one of those locations. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Looking at this list a little closer, I did not even realize, but Shedeur Sanders will not be in attendance at the NFL draft. 3 quarterbacks that will be in attendance. Cam Ward, obviously, sounds like he'll be the number 1 overall pick. Jackson Dart, like we mentioned. And then the other quarterback that is going to be there, Jalen Milroe, who that could be a name that could be hanging around late in the first round.
See what the Rams do?
Yeah, definitely. So, but 17
They
guys.
got to start planning for the future.
They definitely do, yeah.
Post Stafford. So we're certain it's Cam Ward, right? Landon, you're a big Titans fan. We're just certain of it, right?
feels like it.
It seems like all the signs are pointing there. Yeah. It's unavoidable at this point.
Maybe
we'll hand the card in while we're young. We don't need a long delay.
Let's not wait forever. I mean, Tennessee Titans are on the board. The pick is in, I mean, let's do one of those numbers.
Play the jingle, hug the commissioner. Yeah. And then let's get to 2.
And then that should mean that number 2 should be very easy.
Locked and loaded. Let's go.
Ready. And then from 3 on, then we
let's
can
get this thing rolling.
Yeah. If we can get the first 2 out quick, I would love that. I don't think we're going to see that at all. Before we get to this break, let me remind you of our great 5 o'clock sponsors. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there. Test drive these vehicles, 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, to find that next perfect vehicle at Bluff City Jaguar. Let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep Celebration all in one at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class. Or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class payload capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motorcars. 67704 MSRP 29765 Hornet R3A08 452 MSRP 44620 Ram SN 673 402 MSRP 517 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and tile, foundation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and will flourish your business. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church in Memphis.
Good afternoon. Still some traffic volume trying to get out of Midtown. Coming south on 240 at South Parkway. A normal buildup for this time of the afternoon. 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Still a bit crowded, but it's moving right now. 240 as you get on to 385. Bill Morris Parkway continuing out towards Collierville. Dandelions, crabgrass. You want to get rid of all this, make your yard look better than your neighbors? Call Lawn Solutions right now. They are affordable at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. We got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. Brett, we were talking about it during the break. Landon and I were, so we'll turn this question to you. Cam Ward next Thursday night is announced. He's the number one pick. He's going to be a Tennessee Titan. He puts on the cap and gets started with the Titans. What do you think year one looks like for Cam Ward with the Titans?
I think it will look like the first player overall selected by a team that had been really bad, and it was the reason why they were drafted number one. And it'll be Sundays that you'll be very, very vindicated, and hope springs eternal, and future looks bright. Got to get help around him. There will be weeks like, what did we do?
Yeah,
it doesn't look like he have a clue, and he's probably going to go about 5 and 12 that first year. I think if they got to 6, they'd do handstands.
Oh yeah.
But in the end, I think they'll be very pleased with him. Big arm, very, very gifted, very talented, super athlete, the dominant athlete among the three. There's just no question.
Oh,
about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just look at him, body type. He looks the part much more than Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart.
I definitely agree with that.
No comparison body to Jalen Milroe.
No,
it dwarfs him.
Oh, it definitely does. And we were talking about this as well. You know, I remember, I guess it was last offseason, we had Max Chadwick on, and he had just done an interview with Cam Ward, but this was before he was going. It was when that time where he was, was unsure of what he was going to do. He was in the portal, and I think there was a chance he was going to declare for the draft. And we had Max Chadwick on. He had just interviewed him, so we were talking about it with him. We said, what is Cam Ward? Who is Cam Ward? And he said, he'll go out there and have half of his plays. He looks like number one overall pick, future Hall of Famer. And then the other 50% of his plays, it looks like, this guy needs a lot more development, a lot more time in college. And so it was just trying to, limit that a little bit and have a lot more great plays than you do bad plays. I think he showed a little bit of that at Miami last year. And so, it will be interesting. But I think, you look, and I think you just said it, and you said it extremely well. There's a reason that the Tennessee Titans are choosing number one overall. There's a reason that the Carolina Panthers, when they went quarterback, were picking number one overall. These teams had bad seasons, and so getting a quarterback and then plugging them in there, it's not going to fix everything overnight. There's going to be highs and there's going to be lows in year one for the Titans.
It will be, and then every draft strategy over the next 2 or 3 years will be around him, either getting him help, getting him protection, or getting the ball back for him.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's how important that position is. everything is centered around the quarterback, most important player in all of team sports.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, a little more than a week away until we'll see the first round of the NFL draft up at Lambeau.
Why are the Dolphins shopping Jalen Ramsey? This is already kind of so if they trade him to somebody he hadn't already – this is 3 teams. So if they trade him to somebody he hadn't been with, 4 teams for a guy that's on the way to Canton, isn't he?
Yeah, 7-time Pro Bowler. I mean, you're a 7-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
You're strolling into Canton.
And we'll do it the week after the draft with Bo. We always pick out somebody that went in the first round usually that we think is Canton bound. We all had Jalen Ramsey coming out of that draft.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
but now 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. And
It's a lot of teams.
It is a lot of teams. I was reading a story up on ESPN a little bit earlier when this news came out of kind of why. And, not really any reasons that have been put out there. It doesn't seem like anything, happened, kind of a blow up that led to him being shopped out there. And so, yeah, it's weird. I mean, this guy is a great cornerback, but it does feel like he gets places, and whether he's unhappy or other people are unhappy with him, it just feels like it doesn't work out, and he gets moved to the next place. It's a weird situation, and, it'll be one we'll definitely have to talk with Bo about and get his thoughts on, why they're making this move, and hopefully by then maybe we'll have an idea of where he could land.
Chris Gordy was so good when he joined us at 3:30. I invite everybody, if they didn't catch it all or want to go back and hear it again, go back and listen to him when he joined us at 3:30. That blew me away that the Rockets, did he say home game since 2019?
Yeah. Haven't hosted a playoff game since 2019.
They will be towel waving and ready Sunday.
Yeah.
We know that feeling, though.
We do.
What happened in 2012? Weren't the Grizzlies the 2 seed that year?
That's right.
In 22?
Mm-hmm.
They could act young.
They definitely can, and we talked about it to start the show, and we've talked about it a lot this year of just kind of this way that the Rockets built this roster. I mean, they get handed Ime Udoka pretty much, and they go out there and they get a couple of veteran pieces, but a lot of this team was constructed through the draft. They're young guys that, they were in lottery position because they had really struggled, because they were so bad. And once they went out and got Jalen Green and a couple of these other young guys, Jabari Smith, and some of these young guys that they could build around, that's when they went out and got Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks and some of these older guys to really supplement this roster. And so now you're seeing it all come together. But we've seen it here with the Grizzlies. That time after the core 4 and before, when you went out and had the luxury of getting Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant, you had that luxury because you were really bad those seasons, and you had top picks. And so Houston went through that and really had to start from the ground up, and it's definitely playing out for them right now, and now we're seeing them with the number 2 overall seed.
Are you ready for the Aaron Bradshaw visit from Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a really good fit. I really like
That's the
Aaron
Tyrese
Bradshaw.
Hunter this year.
Yeah.
That's the one that would. I missed on P.J. Haggerty. I thought he was good. I didn't know he was going to be that good. But when the Tigers landed Hunter last year, that's when I know he can. I know Bradshaw can go.
No, Bradshaw is I think a really good player, and so you've seen kind of a guy that hasn't been able to really capitalize on opportunities. Obviously, this will now be his 3rd school in 3 years, but I do like what he can bring. He's a big guy, a 7'1" guy that can really be a force down low. So yeah, I think that would be a great fit. A guy that's played at the high major level, and so coming to Memphis, I think it'd be a great opportunity for him. I mean, I think Aaron Bradshaw could bring a lot of what you saw with a couple of guys on this team this year of kind of those guys that, were at the high majors, come to Memphis and really flourish in this system under Penny Hardaway. So, I'm excited for that visit and definitely someone to keep an eye on as the Tigers really working right now to fill out this roster.
2 other things from the AAC. Our friend Brendan Moore, great college football follower, he had the DraftKings odds today to win the AAC championship in football. Tulane plus 200. That's before Nico. That's going to be without Nico.
Yeah.
That is OUT. Navy plus 330. Army plus 400. Memphis fourth at plus 600.
Yeah, it makes sense. This is a Tiger team that is replacing a lot, especially offensively, but I do like the pieces that they brought in. And, you look at both of the service academies, Army, year in, year out, has just been such a great program. And then Navy, what they really got started last year and what they will likely continue into next year, they'll definitely be a force. So I do think those are the top 4 teams, but I like what Memphis can do next year with this team. And here in about a week or so, we'll see what this roster looks like at the spring game and kind of get that first little taste of what they could be next year.
The other AAC note, Rice just can't stop embarrassing this league. Did you catch over the weekend that they had a delay in the game for the removal of a beehive from the USF dugout?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Brett, you don't mess with them, and they don't mess with you. I mean, I just
who's got the beehive guy on speed dial?
Well, what was it? Who was it? The D-backs that had to call in a bee guy to get all the bees out.
He shinnied up the
he sure
screen,
did. And then he threw the first pitch out the next night. So I don't know. Did this guy down at USF did he throw out the first pitch to the next game? I don't know.
So it was in Florida.
I don't know. I thought that's what you said. Was it at Rice? I have no idea. Brett, believe me. I do not keep up with AAC baseball.
I don't have a great handle.
I'm not really paying attention. I'll pay attention to who the Tigers are playing. But yeah, honestly though, I mean,
a beehive don't show up with a can of wall spray. That wouldn't be good.
No.
And we need the bees.
Sure.
Be good to the bees.
Yeah. No, the bees are great.
Yeah, bees are
tell you
great.
all the time. Local honey. Your allergies are acting up. Take a spoonful of local honey.
Pollinate all our food.
Yeah,
we need the bees.
You got to have the bees to have the honey. So yes. Free the bees, I guess.
Yeah. No bees, no honey. It's that simple.
Bingo. But yeah, that is a weird story. Rice does seem to have the weird stories going on with their program. But hey, maybe they get it right for football season. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we return, we're up today's show with Crunch Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Whoa, more fiber?
What?
Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation with belly pain still coming back.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. And make learn them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with foamy or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-999-CSS.
It's time for the Ultimate Hot Wing Showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival, Saturday, April 26th at the Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy, along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll, all in support of the Ronald McDonald House. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com, sponsored by RS Financial Group, Bank 3, ATC Fitness, and Universal Access. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Here's another 20%. That's the overall increase in identity theft-related tax fraud in 2024 alone. Wow. But it's not all grim news. Here's a good number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock has a U.S.-based restoration specialist. They'll work to fix it. Backed by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Package. In fact, restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers. And with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% on your first year with the promo code HERD. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to LifeLock.com. The promo code is HERD, H-E-R-D, for 40% off. Terms apply.
Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like a good old day.
Hey, y'all, Jimmy Stone over here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Millions of trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years. Because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to request for your next order.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, your shoes the whole time you're there. Can't put a price on that kind of luxury. And you pay for it. Switch to Progressive and you will save. For speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that yesterday Aaron Judge was named Team USA's captain for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. But that's not really what I learned today. It happened yesterday. What I learned today, I think, speaks very highly about Aaron Judge. Because when I saw this, I started thinking, why wasn't he the captain of the last World Baseball Classic in 2023? And then I started thinking back, I don't even remember him on that team. That's because he was not on that team in 2023. So you might be wondering, why was he not on the team in 2023? That was the year after, the offseason, after hitting 62 home runs. Why did he pass then and is now captain? The answer, read this earlier. Judge felt a responsibility to be as present as possible during spring training that year, since he had just signed his $360 million mega extension with the Yankees and had just been named the first Yankees captain since Derek Jeter. That's the type of captain you want to have, someone that has all these opportunities out here but says, I got to be here in spring training where really nobody's asking you to really be there. I need to be here now because I just got all this money to be the face of the franchise and I'm the captain of the franchise. franchise. I thought that, which is very weird to say this about the Yankees, I thought that spoke extremely highly about the type of player Aaron Judge is.
Be a leader, and he is. And I'm warming up to the World Baseball Classic. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to ever not watch college basketball at that time in preference for that. But I'm liking it a little more, and I like that Mark DeRosa is going to be the manager again. But I learned 11-0 at home for Mike Schilt's Padres. Taylor Jenkins will someday, somewhere, make the Grizzlies pay like Mike Schilt is tormenting the Cardinals.
Oh, man. It's hard to watch, Brett. It really is. I mean, to think of the success he's having and that he was rocking that Cardinals uniform.
Company man, too, through and through.
No, he absolutely
Manager
is.
Here in Memphis.
Yeah, that really could have been what I could have done without. But what I really could do without is what we talked about earlier in the show, this Nico Harrison secret media scrum that he did earlier today. Invite only about 12 to 15 media members, no audio, no video allowed, kept saying defense wins championships. Very weird thing to say just a week after the guy you traded dropped 45 points on you. And I keep asking, why today? Just seems like a very weird time. Your team's getting ready to go out there and play a win-or-go-home game. I felt like this could have waited, really should never have happened. But nobody woke up this morning wanting to talk about Luka Doncic or Nico Harrison. But because, for whatever reason, they decided to do this today, it's become one of the biggest stories in the sports world, is Nico only allowing certain media members to come to a press conference about a trade that happened over a month ago.
That's what I could do without the selective nature of that. And look, if you're not invited, you still have to be fair. You still have to call it down the middle. But we also know this. Sometimes you can call it a little more favorably to one side. You can just pass completely, or you can come down with an elbow square in the back. For anybody not invited, I don't need these teams mad of, why are you ripping on us?
No.
Couldn't invite me to your event.
That's right. That's right.
When I come to the Yogi Berra Fork in the Road, or as Brother Brent said, the Old Testament.
That's right.
Sorry, you don't get the pass.
No, I'm with you on that. Just a very weird things going on in Dallas. Where are you beaming tonight?
DJ Center, West Bay, San Francisco. That franchise, they bug me. But that's where the action, that's where it's going to be tonight. Amazing. Jimmy Butler ended up there this year, and Luka in L.A. It's almost like it was fixed, didn't it?
Almost. Very weird times in the NBA. Now, beam me there as well. Hopefully, the Grizzlies can get the win tonight. It's going to be a late one. We'll see when Brett's calling it at 12. Hopefully, it's later in the game than early.
In about 5 minutes, you've got Cleveland at Baltimore on TNT.
Yeah, some good stuff going on tonight with all the baseball, with the basketball. Should be a fun night of action. That's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
With XMC Technologies, your local source for the best in office technology for over 30 years. We believe that being a technology partner means meeting our clients' needs as they change over time. That's why I'm happy to share that we are now Visual Edge IT. As cyber attacks continue to be a growing threat, our customers are asking for more cybersecurity and ransomware protection. For more information on how to protect your office, visit us at visualedgeit.com or call us locally 901-737-8910.
Wesley